almost had someone. Almost. Thank you so much for the comments on my hair, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the comments on my hair, guys. I appreciate it. How many people do I need for a 1v1? Just one more. I need someone to request, and 300 people is. It's hard to find op with only 300 people. It's really, you start to see the op appear around the 1,000 viewer mark. So we gotta keep tapping and keep sharing, guys. Yeah, it's been weird lately. I don't know if I'm too worried about views. I don't know if I'm oversaturating. Like I don't know if I'm just on too much or if I've just gotten boring. Did I go to the same hairdresser? Yes. Background's too wordy? That could be. I've had success with this background though. I've definitely had success.
How do
Hello, little hoodie. Going.
you about this app being generally fit for kids, and you're promoting uh, to be a different gender than that they were born in with?
Why would it be inappropriate for kids to be aware that that trans people exist?
Not that they exist, but you're promoting it
How am I promoting being trans? Thank you so much for the sub, Jen.
every day. I see you on live saying like,
Can you explain to me how I'm promoting? Oh yeah, I need to do an age check. How old are you, little hoodie?
"I'm fucking 80, dude. This is a kid's app. Stop promoting it.
Little hoodie, I need to know your age.
I'm 80. This is a kid's app. Stop promoting
Have a
it."
good day. Goodbye.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How old are you, please?
I'm 18.
Fantastic. What year were you born?
2005.
Okay. What is the necessary condition for being a woman?
Um, well, okay, so I'm Christian, so I kind of feel like when you are born, you kind of just, you have a vagina, but I have been watching your live for some time, and I just wanted to kind of come on here and say that from watching your live, I am learning a lot, and I have respect. I'm gaining so much more respect for you.
Fantastic. That makes me happy. All right. Thank you so much for the cat pause.
But yeah, I just wanted to hop on and say that. So thank you
All right.
for honestly keep going in live and sharing your views and helping people learn.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a good, nice day. YKME. I don't know how to pronounce
You
that.
too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
How are you, Rice Eater?
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right? How old are you, please?
I'm 19.
19. Fantastic. And what year were you born?
I was born 2000.
Hmm? When were you born? Sorry, you cut out.
Sorry, it's 'cause my Apple ID, something happened to it, so I don't know what happened to it.
Okay, I can hear you now. So what year were you born?
1.
What year were you born?
Oh, 2004.
Okay, fantastic. It's all good. No problem. What is a necessary condition for being a woman?
So I have been like watching it live. Like sometimes whenever you go live, I watch it, and I'm like Catholic, so I'm like she said, like the other person, that I believe that when you're born, you're supposed to have a vagina. But I feel like that you are like a good person, and I also feel like that you like you're good about it and stuff. Like you don't like push anything on other people and stuff, and that like you all this like you don't push like LGBTQ stuff on other people, and that like you're really nice about it and stuff. And I love your
Okay.
style. I love your style, and like I used to be bi too, so and stuff like I support it.
Okay. Was there something you wanted to talk about specifically?
No, that's it.
Okay. You have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you too.
How you doing, Frank? No, Frank. Okay, this guest isn't connecting. Not connecting. Nobody's connecting. How do people like join if don't connect? How you doing? Who's next?
How's it going, mate? How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
31 years old.
All right, fantastic. And what is a necessary condition for being a woman?
Well, are we talking about a biological woman or the new definition of a woman?
I mean, biological. There's a lot of background noise.
Is that better?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, but the concept of biological woman doesn't really. Now the background noise is back.
How about now?
I'm not hearing too much. I don't know if it's you moving around or something, but it can be pretty intense sometimes. Okay. So biological just means living. So yes, I am a living woman. Yes. It means I'm a living organism.
Well, the definition of a biological woman is a person with XX chromosomes, usually has female sex and reproductive organs, and is therefore usually assigned a biological female at birth.
Usually, but not always.
So we're talking about the anomalies of a woman now?
We are looking for a rule that applies to the entire group without exception.
Well, that was pretty much the definition. Have you got a computer in front of you? Google the definition of a biological woman and see what comes up.
There's a bunch of different definitions for woman. Biological woman won't really give you anything of value. Woman, the number one definition for a woman is adult human female. Do you want to work with that one?
Okay, so what are the three functions of a female body?
Three functions. There's a lot more than three functions of a body.
So is it to fertilize eggs, produce eggs? Would you say that's two functions of a female body?
Those are two functions that happen in a typical female body.
Okay, so if you're not born with those characteristics, what are you? Are you a woman or an anomaly?
I don't think that people who don't produce eggs are anomalies.
Well, what's the definition of anomaly? Could you answer me that?
Why don't you give it to me?
Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. So would you say that categorizes?
I'm not going to deny
perfectly?
that. I'm not going to deny that definition, but I find that there's a negative connotation with the word anomaly, and I won't use it to refer to people who are a little bit different.
So
Thank you so much.
How shall we address people if anomaly is derogative? Because a lot of straight people see cis as derogative, but that's just the language that
but it's not.
the
And
LGBTQ
it's silly to think that it is. Okay, can you pick a direction, please? You're going in a million different directions. I just need you to pick one direction.
Okay, so you asked me what the definition of a woman was. I gave it to you. I gave you what the functions of a woman was. Now tell me how that aligns with
I need you to pick one direction for us to go, because every time I try to address something, you move in a new direction.
I'm not shifting the goalpost in any way. You asked me what a woman was. I defined to you.
No,
what a woman
I asked you if the definition that you wanted to address was adult human female. That's not the definition that I use, but it's a definition that we can work with if you want to.
I said a biological female. I'm not mad. Why do people think that I'm angry? What? So any time, what I've noticed a lot.
When they say he's angry, they're referring to me. That they're misgendering me and saying that I'm angry.
Okay, so the conversation we're actually speaking about was not a adult female. It was a biological female.
Right. And okay, so biological female. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that you need to be female in order to be a woman?
Well,
Is that a fair claim?
Well, I think nowadays the perception of how you feel, if you feel like a woman, you are a woman. I think that's incorrect. Yes, absolutely. If you're
Yeah, I
not
don't make the
born
claim that feeling like a
biological-
woman is what makes you a woman.
So, were you born a biological woman?
Again, biological just means a living organism. I am a living organism and I am a woman. So yes, I'm a biological woman.
Okay, so do you have ovaries and are you able to reproduce as a woman?
I am not able to reproduce. I do not have ovaries. I'm not able to reproduce.
So, therefore, how could you possibly be a woman?
Because those are not necessary conditions of being a woman. Not all people who identify as women, who are female, are capable of doing either of those, are capable of giving birth or having ovaries.
So once again, intersex, I think you're deviating from the conversation. Now, if we're going into intersex, people who are born with both genitalia, that's only 0.5 to 1.7% of the population. So the anomaly, the word anomaly, which I like to use, which is actually
Let's not call people anomalies. Look, I agree that the people who are born intersex are fairly uncommon. I agree that they are different from male and female people. But let's just not use the word anomaly. I find it to be a word that is used. It has a negative connotation.
Okay, so back to what
different. They're just different. That's all.
Okay, so back to where you were heading with not all women are born that way. That's a very small percentage of people who are born that
It's
way.
a small
Now,
percentage.
if you're talking about infertile women, I think that's 1 in 6 women around the world are infertile. That's a whole different conversation. But in terms of staying on the subject, what is a woman? I've given you the definition of a biological woman. What is your definition of a woman, if you don't mind me asking?
Someone with a persistent innate sense of self that says that they are a woman.
So, under that logic, could I call myself a duck because I feel like a duck and I could inhibit the characteristics of a duck? Well, why not? Because it's how I feel.
No, nobody has a persistent innate sense of self that says that they are a duck. That's not a thing.
If I got down and I waddled like a duck and I quacked like a duck, does that make me a duck?
Nope, because that does not meet the criteria for being a duck. It's a different species. The criteria for being a duck is different than the criteria for being a human.
Okay, so with that logic being soundly disrupted by yourself, how can you say the same applies for yourself? Because you feel like a woman, you think you're a woman, therefore you are a woman?
No, I have not made the claim that I feel like a woman. I have an innate sense of self. I was born this way. Gender identity develops in the brain, in the hypothalamus specifically, between the ages of 3 and 7. During that period of time, I developed into a girl.
So gender dysphoria now makes up for the fact that you feel like a woman, so you are a woman, yet you don't have the physical
Only 60% of trans people have dysphoria.
Only 50% of trans people. And 60%, what is the percentage of trans people around the globe? Could you give me those statistics?
It's like approximately like 0.4% or something like that, 0.6%, somewhere around there.
No, actually, it's transgender occurrences generally found in less than 1% of the worldwide population.
Yeah, that's literally what I just said.
Ranging from you said 4%. So actually, it's
I said 0.4%
to 0. It's not even that. It's 0.1%. So,
okay, I'm not worried about the number. It's not the number that I hear. I generally hear 0.4%, but I don't care. If the number is 0.1%, I don't care.
Okay, so if you feel like a woman, therefore you are a woman, what bathroom would you use, if you don't mind me asking?
I use the women's. You're jumping topics again. Can we focus on something?
Well, I mean, you've pretty much already proved my point, because the fallacy and the argument that I'm making is a biological woman, has certain characteristics and properties that defines them as a woman from a social norm and a biological norm. Now, you don't want to use the word anomaly. You don't have any
No,
of
I
the
don't.
characteristics.
It has a negative connotation. There are other words we can use instead.
Yeah, that's cool, but you don't have the characteristics of a woman. You think you're a
Yes, I
woman,
do.
therefore you are a woman. That's absolute
There is no right way to be a
ridiculousness.
woman. There is no right way to be a woman.
There's one key part you're missing out, though. The
What am I
biological
missing?
anatomy. The biological anatomy of a woman.
What anatomy am I missing?
You're missing ovaries. You can't reproduce. You can't
Correct. I
fertilize
do not
eggs.
have
You don't
ovaries.
have
I do not have
eggs.
ovaries. That is, I'm done with you steamrolling. Okay, I'm getting frustrated. Stick
You're
to a damn
getting mad
topic
because
and let me
everybody's gifting
respond.
me.
Stick to a topic and let me respond. Okay. Okay.
Okay, calm down.
Okay.
Breathe.
So
Breathe with
having
me.
ovaries is
Breathe.
not a necessary condition of being a woman. Woman is gender. Sex is female is sex. So having ovaries is a sex characteristic, and it is a sex characteristic that not all females have. Some women
Sex is
don't
not
have
malleable.
ovaries. Some women don't have ovaries.
We've been through that, and the actual percentage of women who don't have ovaries is only not even 0.5%. So that's
I
not a
don't
valid
care what the
argument.
percentage is. We're looking for a rule that applies to the entire group.
And that's exactly what I've been saying. The biology of a woman applies to the entire group.
You just said that you have to have ovaries in order to be a woman. Guys, I'm not going sub only. I'm sorry. I apologize to my mods. I'm not going sub only.
Well, you said that. What's a general rule for being a woman? I've given you 4 or 5 different examples of what a woman is.
And you've not given me a chance to talk on any of those matters. You keep
Well, I'll
I
mute the
can
mic
say
and
one
you can
thing and
tell
then you
me.
move on to the next.
Well, I'll mute the mic and I'll let you explain your definition of a woman.
I already have. It's an innate sense of self that is persistent.
And we've been through this before. If like I said with the duck analogy, if I felt like a duck, if I felt like a bird, if I felt like a whale, it does
The
not
criteria
make
for
me
being a
whale.
duck is different than the criteria for being a human. The criteria for being a duck is not, and it has nothing to do with being trans.
In what way? They're all sentinel beings. They're all living beings. How could it be different?
How is, for real, you're being disingenuous now.
I'm being genuine 100%. Now, the argument that I made was a woman has these functions, is born with these functions, is able to do these functions. The argument you're making is I was born this way, I feel this way, therefore I am what you're saying I'm not. Now, I'm asking you the question. If I felt like a dog, got down on all fours, walked
I'm not
around my
engaging
yard
in
and
that
started
conversation
barking.
anymore. I already gave you the answer
Why
there.
not?
I'm not
It's the
engaging
same
in that
logic.
again. No, it's
It's
not.
the same logic. Well,
Anyone
how is
who
it different?
Okay, anyone who genuinely believes that they are a different species other than human, the treatment plan for that is different than the treatment plan for being transgender. If you genuinely believe that you are another species, you are wrong because we know exactly how to define each of these species biologically.
Okay, then let me put
So
it
the
this way.
treatment for someone who believes that is different.
Okay, so let me put it this way. I've been born a male with male genitalia. I've
Congrats.
identified as a male all my life. This morning, after speaking to you, I now feel like I'm a woman. Does that class me as a woman? Am I now a woman because I feel like a woman? After speaking to you,
No, I have
feel
not
like I'm a
once
woman.
made the claim that feeling like a woman is what makes you a woman. I've never made that claim. Thank you for the roses.
Well, you don't have the biological functions of a woman, so how could you possibly be a woman?
Holy fuck. Okay. I would, okay, for real, who's next? I would really genuinely love to talk about the biological functions that you're talking about. I really do, for real. I want to.
Yeah.
Let's stay there and let's focus on that particular spot, okay?
Okay, let's go.
I'm up for that. Okay.
I'll
so
mute
what,
my mic and you can finish.
no.
Sorry.
No, I want to engage with you. I want to talk with you about this. I don't want to just talk at chat. I want to talk with you. What is a biological function that all women have?
Ovaries, a uterus, and the ability to produce eggs and fertilize eggs.
Fantastic. So we can work with this. One of the things you said was being born with a uterus. 1 in 5,000 females are born without uteruses.
No, that's actually correct. I gave you the stats of how many people are born intersex.
I'm
With
not
both
talking about
parts.
intersex. I'm not. We can talk about intersex people. There's a conversation to be had there as well. But I'm not talking about intersex. I'm talking about females who identify as women, so cisgender women who are born without uteruses. 1 in 5,000.
Yep. That's about fair. That's about fair
Okay.
to say.
Well, would you say that they are women?
Well, they're born without a uterus, but do they have a vagina? What's the stats on that?
Some women are born without vaginas. It's called vaginal
So-
agenesis.
So can you give me the numbers on that?
I actually don't know the numbers on that, no.
Okay, let's have a look at it. How many women are born without vaginas?
We're looking for a rule that applies to the entire group. So if there are women that are born without vaginas, then that is not the rule that applies to the entire group.
So vaginal agenesis, I think, is the concept we're looking for here.
Yep.
Which is about 1 out of 7,000 female infants.
1 in 7,000. That's a pretty good number.
And this, by the way, this study is only taken out of America because it comes from Boston Children's Hospital. That's
Okay.
the source. So, yeah.
All right. So then we're in agreement that there are some women who are born without vaginas.
Yes, exactly. And that's the word that you don't want to use because you feel it's biased.
No.
The word anomaly.
Yeah, I didn't. So right. So it is uncommon for a woman to be born without a vagina. It is uncommon for a female to be born without a vagina, but it happens.
Absolutely.
And it does not make them any less of a woman. Can we agree that a woman born without a vagina is not any less of a woman?
No, because that's an anomaly. In that case.
Wait, so are you saying that they are less of a woman? Or what? I just want to make sure I understand. Are you saying that they are less of a woman?
So there's a difference between a woman being born without a uterus and a woman being born without a vagina. What were you born with?
I was born with a penis.
You're proving my point.
Okay.
You,
so
sir,
I just want to make sure that I understood what you said. Who's next? Are you saying that women born without a vagina or a uterus, are they less of a woman? Or are they just as much of a woman? I just want to make sure that we're clear there.
Woman born without a uterus. So this is where we're going, eh? Is that where we're going? Woman born without a uterus?
Or a vagina, either or.
Well, the uterus and the vagina are two separate things.
Right, of course, which is why I said either or.
So, hang on. We're talking about your case, not these anomalies. I said they're anomalies.
Okay, I'm asking you to clarify what you said earlier. We were talking about how approximately 1 in 7,000 people are born, 1 in 7,000 women are born without a vagina. Are you saying that those 1 in 7,000 are less of a woman, or are they just as much of a woman? Which one is it? And yes, so the people in the comments saying, send me my money, send me my money.
I would say that they're definitely anomalies, but they are women.
So are they just as much of a woman? Just as much?
Did I just answer the question?
No, you did not. I want to know if they are just as much of a woman. Or are they less of a woman?
I said they are anomalies, yet they are women.
Fantastic. Okay, on equal footing as a typical cis woman born with a vagina, with a uterus, etc.
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, so I am a woman that was born without a uterus. I am a woman who was born without a vagina.
Well, hang on. No. You are a male. This is where you're.
I'm male. I acknowledge that I am male.
You are not that anomaly. You are not one of the 7,000 people you are speaking about. You were born with male genitalia.
Yeah, I was born with male genitalia. I am male.
Absolutely a male.
Yes, exactly. I am male. I do not deny that I am male. This is not the gotcha you think it is.
So let's clarify this for a second. Okay, you were born with male genitalia, like myself, correct? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Now, what would validate me in your mind? What would make me less of a woman now that I've had a conversation with you? I now, as a male, as a proud male, I now identify as a woman.
What you're
validate?
missing there is the persistence. You need persistence, insistence, and
What?
consistence.
Okay. So I have to feel like this way for a long period of time
Yes.
before I'm a woman.
Yes.
What the actual? Are you being serious?
Yep.
I can't tell if you're
Yes, I
joking.
am. Yep. You
So
cannot
persist-
just choose to identify as a woman on a whim.
You just said it yourself. You were born as a man. You can't choose to just
No, I
identify
said I was born
as a
male.
woman.
I said I was born
Yeah.
male.
You were born. You just said it yourself. You just gave the basis of the argument that I've been stating for the last 10 minutes. What just came out of your mouth was you cannot feel like a woman on a whim, which is the point I've been making to you. Thank you. We agree. You're not a woman.
No, you're not making the point you think you're making.
What do you mean? You just validated what I said. Your exact words that came out of your mouth. Nobody coerced you. Nobody forced you to say this. You turned around and said, you cannot feel like a woman. Stop laughing because I don't mean to be ratchet, but let's be real. You just said you
It's
cannot
not a
feel
feeling.
like a woman on a
It's
woman.
not a feeling.
Well, then you don't. Did you hear what you just said?
That it's not a feeling, yes, and that you can't you can't
so
on
how
a
can
whim
you-
identify as a woman.
Exactly. If you're born with a
I
penis,
don't think
you
you're
can't
understanding
do
a
that.
word I'm
Yet
saying.
you're-
Who's next?
I don't think you're understanding what you're saying. You're proving my point. Somebody record this. Absolutely.
Oh, everything is
You
recorded.
cannot-
Everything is recorded.
So you you turned around and said you cannot feel like a woman on a whim. So what are you doing that's different to that? You feel like a woman, therefore you are.
I have persistence, insistence, and consistence. I started identifying as a girl. I started recognizing that I was a girl at the age of 4, and that has not gone away.
Just because your persistence with delusion doesn't make it fact or right or true.
Sure, but being transgender is not a delusion.
Being transgender is not a delusion.
If you want to make the claim that it is, you're going to have to back that.
Okay, let's go. Now, I've heard I've heard things like you cannot attribute mental illness to people who are transgender. Okay, maybe you cannot, but there definitely is a correlation in research in terms of they're more susceptible to mental illness in terms of depression, anxiety, bad lifestyle choices, unaliving themselves.
And okay, so hang on. Okay. You're right. We're more prone to depression. We're more prone to anxiety, and our self-unaliving
actually 2
ideation
or
rate
3
is
times.
astronomically high.
Actually, 2 or 3 times more than
Okay, yeah.
the
Do you know
normal
why?
gendered people.
Do you know why we are more depressed? Do you
yes.
know why we have such high anxiety? Do you know why our self-unaliving ideation rate is so high?
Yeah, if you let me finish, I
right,
definitely
go for it. I
would
wanna
care
hear
to
it.
explain a bit more. Okay, now it's not because of the it's not because of the social norm. It's because you're not comfortable in your own skin. So this is what absolutely
That's part of
amazes
it.
me.
That's part of it.
So
That's part of
it. The victim mentality of, do you know why we do this? Is because people don't tolerate us? No, you do it because you
No,
don't know
we actually
whether
have
you're
stats
Arthur
that
or
show that
Martha.
is. We actually have we have these things called studies, and they show why trans people feel the way we do, why we do the things that we do, and our depression and our anxiety and our self-unaliving ideation rate is high due to lack of acceptance, specifically from parents, and due to lack of access to gender-affirming care, as well as feeling uncomfortable in our own bodies, that kind of stuff.
Access to gender affirming care.
Yes.
So are you talking about puberty blockers and all these things?
Puberty blockers, hormones, surgery.
So
therapy.
Okay, sweet as, yep. I agree. Okay, maybe not 100%, but to some sort of degree, I could see in that type of lifestyle how hard it would be to conform to social norms. I mean, you're so confused, you don't know whether you're Arthur or Martha. It would be real hard. So give me your views on affirming care for children.
Yeah, I 100% support it. 100%. Transgender children exist. They are suffering right now. They need treatment now, not later. Thank you for the heart.
Okay, interesting. At what age do you think a child who is seeking gender changing procedures, what's that age you feel that you're comfortable with?
What specific aspect of gender affirming care are we talking about?
Gender reassignment.
So bottom surgery age 17, top surgery age 16, generally.
So we're not talking about kids now, are we?
I mean, we're talking about teenagers in that case.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I don't support surgeries for children.
Whoa. Hang on. Back up a little
No
bit.
problem.
I asked you, what were your thoughts on gender surgery for children? You turned around and said you agreed with it. Then I asked you, what do you feel
You
the
said gender
legal
affirming care.
ages?
I support gender affirming care for children, absolutely.
So gender affirming care, what does that look like? Can you give me a
Gender affirming
definition
care,
of gender affirming care?
It can be social transition. It can be things like changing your name, changing your pronouns, changing how you dress. It can be therapy. It can be puberty blockers. It can be hormones.
Okay. Now, the actual crux of the argument where people lose me in this conversation is, do you have children?
I do not.
See, this is the funny ideology your community makes, is their lifestyle do not support the norms of society or the norms of reproduction. Okay, two gay men cannot fuck each other in the ass and reproduce a child. Yet they would like to talk. Yeah, can I finish? I'm
Sure,
proving my
go
point
for
with
it.
what I'm
Rah,
saying.
thanks so much.
Yeah, rah. Yeah, rah. Okay, your guys' community want to push these views and are all for children, yet you don't live a lifestyle where you can biologically, normally, without any doctors or medication, reproduce children.
Transgender people can reproduce.
No, they can't. A
Yeah,
transgender
we
woman
can.
cannot have children.
Oh my God. Who's next? Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
Okay, I'm ridiculous, am I? One moment,
Yes.
let me bring it up. Can trans men have children? Name me one case where. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, like I said, I turned around and said that you cannot have children if there's no medical procedure or anything involved. Okay, now let's see what Google has to say about it. Okay, it is possible.
Don't worry about it,
transgender
though.
men-
Who's next? I just got Cash App to kick you. You have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Dano. Appreciate you. Oh my God. Wow. Guys, trans people can reproduce. Some trans people are male and have male genitalia. Some trans people are female and have female genitalia. And when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Any guest that's not a troll gets a guaranteed 15 minutes, and that's it. Beyond that, you could be kicked for $20. It's $20 to kick a guest after 15 minutes. Thank you so much for the finger hearts. Tap that screen, guys. Let's get it up to 100,000 likes. Let's get another 100 shares. I cannot believe we have 3,600 people watching. That is absolutely amazing. Please tap away, tap and share. If you're enjoying this, please give me a follow. I go live twice a day, almost every day. Though lately, I've been going live 3 times a day. Oh shit, no one can hear me. I just said all of that and no one could hear what I was saying. Thank you so much. So yeah, what I was saying was that transgender people can reproduce. Some trans people are male and have male reproductive systems. Some trans people are female and have female reproductive systems. And when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much. Thank you so much. Guys, give me a follow if you are enjoying this. I go live twice a day, almost every day. All guests that aren't trolls get a 15 minutes guaranteed. Beyond that, no more time is guaranteed. You can kick opposition for $20. And my Cash App is Adora1111. Tips are also appreciated. But please, if you have to choose between me and a Starbucks coffee, choose the Starbucks coffee. I am doing fine. I do not need your money, although tips are appreciated.
How you doing, Marley? You with me?
If you're here.
Hello.
Hello, Bean Body. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
27.
27. Fantastic. And what is a necessary condition for being a woman?
For me personally, is having two chromosomes.
Okay, we can work with that. So what about women with Swyer syndrome? That's when a woman is born with XY chromosomes, but she has female reproductive systems. She identifies as a woman. All that good stuff. But she has XY chromosomes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that regardless if you identify as a woman and regardless of your chromosome, if you are identified by it, that makes you a woman. Like personally, myself, I have PCOS. And I have people in the LGBT community telling me, "Oh, you're actually not a cisgender woman. You're intergender, or something like that."
Yep.
But I,
Yeah,
ident-
people say that a lot.
yeah,
Yep.
but I identify myself as a woman. Like I was born a woman, regardless of my how you call it, of my issues, of my reproductive issues. So, how is it that hard to understand when it comes to transgender
Exactly.
woman? Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, it's just the only question I will have though is like sometimes I wonder because when it comes to trans people, I remember seeing this article where it was like there was a bunch of scientific tests where they were scanning the brains of transgender women and men, and they noticed that that transgender women tend to have like a brain more than a woman, more of a woman than a man, or how they're born into their bodies. So sometimes I wonder if that's the question, what if it's a hormonal imbalance, then sometimes I wonder, is it a good idea to continue to be trans, or would it be better to medically um correct that imbalance?
It depends. It's unique for each of us. Whether or not we should transition or shouldn't transition, it's completely unique to every single one of us. We each get our own individualized treatment plans. For me, I needed surgery. I needed hormones. Some people don't. But Beanbody, are you opposition?
No, I mean, I'm not in a
Okay.
position at all. I generally, I think like at the end of the day, we all die. We all skeletons. So I don't see why do we care so much about other people's bodies when it's not even our business. Like, I'm not paying your rent, you're not paying mine. So,
Right. I
yeah,
appreciate you, Beanbody, but I am looking for opposition, so I am going to drop you down. But you have a good day, okay?
you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Guys, don't forget, if you sub to my channel, you get lifetime access to the Best Friend Squad Discord. It is a happening place. We have a lot of fun. I send out notifications for all the things that I'm doing. I pop ideas by my Best Friend Squad people. Audio's always so fucking bad between guests. But yeah, I was just saying that if you subscribe to my channel here, you get access to the Best Friend Squad Discord right down here. It is a lifetime membership, so yeah, guys, subscribe, get that lifetime membership to the Discord. Okay, we are looking to do some 1v1, so if you are opposition, come on up.
Hello, Jade. How you doing?
Good, good. Listen, I'm not opposition, but I just got to say, I love you. You do you. What's necessary condition to being a woman, mind, body, and spirit. I support you. I love you. You keep doing what you do, okay? Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. Love you, Jade. You have a good day.
Jonathan, thank you so much for the tip. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're amazing, Jonathan.
Hi, can you hear
How you
me?
doing? Yes, I can. How old are you, please?
I'm 17. I just
I
wanted
appreciate you
to.
being honest, but you have to be 18 to go live. You have a good
Oh,
day.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
How you doing today, Puda?
Yeah, all good, mate.
How old are you, please?
Me, I'm 35.
Fantastic. And what is the necessary condition for being a woman?
Oh, mate, just a typical mate. You know what I mean. Just chromosomes, mate. And biology is tough, mate. You know what I mean?
Chromosomes? Okay.
It's enriched
Um,
within science, mate, and the universe.
so you're saying that you have to have XX chromosomes in order to be a
Oh,
woman.
mate, that's the way it's always been, mate. You know what I mean? Since the
It
dawn,
is
since
it's
the dawn of
typical. It
time.
is typical for a woman to have XX chromosomes, but not always. Sometimes a
No,
woman
no,
has
mate. It's
XY
typical, mate. It's
chromosomes.
always been that way. You know what I mean? It's always been that way.
No, it has not
The
always been that way.
research is here now, mate. You can even check the research, mate. It's already out now, mate. You know what I mean? The pushback is on.
Okay, so you're making the claim that in order to be a woman, you have to have XX chromosomes.
Exactly. You give birth to kids, mate. And trans men, mate, they're still women.
Hang on. Let's take this one step at a time. What about women with Swyer syndrome, which means that they have XY
Mate, just go
chromosomes?
see the doctor and he'll tell you about it, but he'll just tell you you're still a female, mate. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Mate, person with that condition, mate, all they got to do is just go see the doctor, mate. The doctor will diagnose you and he'll confirm that you're still a woman.
Yeah, if you have Swyer
Exactly.
syndrome, which means you're a woman with XY chromosomes, you are
Yeah,
still a
yeah.
woman. Correct.
Yeah. You might just chuck you on a couple of antibiotics and that's you, you know? You're still a woman.
Right. Women with
All
Swyer
right.
syndrome are still women, despite the fact that they don't have XX chromosomes.
No.
Therefore, your chromosomes are not
No.
a determining factor in whether or
Whatever
not
you
you're a
say,
woman.
Mr. Fellas, mate, you know what I mean? It's proven within science, mate, you know what I mean?
What is proven within
That's like the
science?
green.
Huda, what is proven within science?
What we're talking about, mate, what I just told you. The
Do
literature's
you
there.
agree that women with Swyer syndrome are still women?
Mate, if they got women's chromosomes, what they are. If they go to the doctor and the doctor tells them, well, you've got this diagnosed with what you're just saying, they're love, but you're still a woman.
I'm
It's like
not
what? It's
understanding
like
the
what?
sentences you're saying.
Breaking up, mate. Anyway, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about gender affirming care.
I,
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about
I'd
this
rather
gender
not move
affirming
past
care.
this. I'm not sure that we're getting anywhere.
You know what I mean? The facts
Um,
are facts, mate. I'd rather move on to something else because, you know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm just telling you facts.
Look, I'm happy to talk about any topic, but we started with chromosomes. I would like to move through
Yeah, I'd like to
chromosomes
move on from
first.
that. I just told you my opinion, mates, and that's pretty
Well,
much
I'm struggling to understand what you're saying. I'm sorry. I don't
you
know
can
if
decide
if
or
it's the
follow on.
accent
Sorry?
or if we're just not getting through to each other. But
Whatever you are.
are women with Swyer syndrome? Swyer syndrome is when a woman has XY chromosomes. Are
Even you just
women with
said they're a
Swyer syndrome
woman. You
still
know what I mean?
women?
You just said they're a woman with whatever
Yeah,
you just talking about. So you just answered it for me, mate. They're still a woman with that
they're
disease, what
still
you're just trying
women.
to say. You just said it. Or
I'm
you, or what?
your audio is
Are you
fine,
talking
but
back on
I'm
that?
not understanding the words that you're saying. I have an audio processing disorder, which
You
makes
just
it
said if
really
a
hard for
woman
me to
has this
process
blah, blah, blah,
accents.
what you're trying to say, you just answered my question. If a woman had whatever you're talking about, you just said that. The woman, you just answered it for me, mate.
I might have to move on.
No,
I
that's all right,
can't
mate.
process what you're
Let's move
saying. I'm
on to.
sorry.
Oh, it's all right, mate. If I got you there, mate, let's talk about something else like gender affirming care. And now it's a phallus, and it's all been debunked around the world, thrown out of the Senate by you know Miriam Grossman, don't you? And Miss McNamara,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Puda. I
hey,
can't.
all
I'm
right,
really sorry.
okay.
I'm trying my
Good
best.
idea.
I'm sorry, guys. I really tried to understand what he was saying. I could not understand what he was saying.
Hello, Emily?
It's Emmeline.
Emmeline? Emmeline.
Yeah, it's like Emily and Caroline.
Oh, cool. Emmeline. I like that. That's cool.
Thank you.
How old are you, please?
25.
Fantastic. And what is the necessary condition for being a woman?
Yeah, so I think a woman is someone whose body is organized around the two functions of one, production, storage, and delivery of eggs, and number two, the gestation of another human being.
So a woman who is not capable of doing those things, is she still a woman?
Just because she's not capable doesn't mean her body isn't organized around those functions.
Or this is not a argument that I've heard. This is an interesting one. Can you elaborate a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people have gone into like you mentioned a lot about Swyer syndrome, right?
Yep.
And so that's true. That's a girl that has been born with an XY chromosome. However, no matter, the abnormality, if you want to call it.
I don't, but I would agree that women with Swyer syndrome, that it's not typical to have Swyer syndrome.
Atypical then. Is that better?
Yeah. I think there's a little bit less of a negative connotation with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What word would you feel comfortable with me using in terms of not following almost every single birth?
Atypical seems like a reasonable word to me.
Okay. Atypical. So this person is born atypically, so their sex hormones are not there, but these girls that are born this way, they still have a vagina, a uterus, and fallopian tubes. Once again,
Not always.
Their bodies are still structured around. So if they're not born with any of that and they're an XY chromosome, that would just be a boy.
So what about cisgender women who are born without uteruses, without vaginas?
Do they have XY chromosomes?
Some do, some don't.
I would love for you to give me the scientific name of that disorder.
Sure. Being born without a vagina is vaginal agenesis.
No. I said both. So if she's born,
those are separate things. You can have multiple things at once.
Okay. Then if they're born XY and they don't have any of those things, because that's what I'm giving you. I'm saying that a woman is someone whose body is organized around that. So whether we're missing a uterus and we don't have fallopian tubes, whether we are born with an atypical vagina and we don't have a uterus, it doesn't matter. We're still organized around those functions.
Okay, I would argue that these are all characteristics of being female and not of being a woman.
Okay, well, I'm giving you asked for what is necessary condition for being a woman. That's what I'm giving you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, everything that you're listening to me are typical things that are associated with females. Sex and gender are being different things. Sex is related to biology. It's related to your genitalia, to your gonads, to your chromosomes, to your neurological sex, to your hormonal sex. Thank you so much for the hand heart. Gender is psychological and social. So everything you're saying here, it's all related to being female, not related to being a woman.
Okay. So the definition that you give frequently is a circular definition. So
it's circular.
Okay. Then that's not concrete.
Yeah, there is not a concrete definition of womanhood. There's no right way to be a woman.
Okay, so then what's the point of debating?
To point out to people that there's no right way to be a woman, that trans identities are valid.
Right. So you're not open for a debate. More so, you're just trying to bring to light your own opinions, correct?
I'm trying to destigmatize the existence of trans people. I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to be visible to closeted and questioning trans people. If someone can present me with evidence that shows that I am wrong, then I will accept that evidence if that evidence is properly peer reviewed, etc.
So, how will you ever accept evidence if you maintain a circular definition?
I can't come up with a better definition than the one that I have. If you have a better definition, by all means, give it to me.
I've given you this. You can say a woman. What's the one that everyone's using now? A woman is an adult female.
Adult human female.
Yeah.
Right, but that doesn't take into account intersex people.
Intersex people. That's 1 in 4,500 kids that are born.
No, it's approximately 1 in 50, a little bit less than 1 in 50.
I have the report pulled up right here from the National Institute of Health, and it says 1 in 4,500 births is born with ambiguous genitalia.
Okay. I'm not overly worried about the percentage. What I am worried about is the fact that those people exist and they are valid.
Absolutely. But their
Yeah.
existence doesn't nullify the fact that there are 2 sexes, male and female.
There's 3
And
sexes, male, female, and intersex. Intersex is a third sex.
Okay, so riddle me this. A woman is someone who is born a girl. You grow into a woman. It's something that, you become. And you start that by being a little girl. So how can you be born and your body is not organized around being a girl and then you just become a woman?
You become a woman at the age of maturity because gender is psychological and social, has nothing to do with your sex
Woman is
characteristics.
post-pubescent.
Once you reach the age of maturity is what I would say. And that varies by any number of definitions.
Well, as a woman, you're told that when you have your first menstruation cycle, congratulations, you're becoming a woman.
Yeah, I personally would not say that someone that young is a woman, personally.
Why not?
But I think it's I think a woman is an adult, right? Or do you think that womanhood and being a woman does not require being an adult?
What do you classify as an adult?
Someone who has reached the age of maturity.
Okay, what do you define as maturity? Being mature?
I have not put much thought into that definition.
Well, once again, we're pulling circular, and so I will have a hard time seeing your side. That's the point of debates, is I can't see your side, and you won't ever be able to see mine if we keep circling back.
I don't think that knowing exactly when womanhood starts and when it doesn't start is relevant to the conversation. Do you?
Absolutely, because
Sure.
your take is that the gender starts deciding as a kid, right?
Between the ages of 3 and 7 in the hypothalamus.
Okay.
That's where it develops.
Okay, if that's where it starts developing, at what point can one claim that it is solidified if we don't know what maturity is?
Look, we could argue if it's 10, we could argue if it's 20, we could argue if it's 30.
We're debating.
Okay, fine. We could debate if it's 10, we could debate if it's 20, we could debate if it's 30. I don't care what the age is. It's not relevant to my definition of a woman. It's not relevant to whether or not I am a woman.
Okay. Well, I'm not quite sure how else to structure it for you other than the necessary conditions for being a woman is that your body is organized around that, whether you're missing a couple of parts of it, whether
You can make that case for being female, but not for being a woman.
No, it's for being a woman because a woman is someone, a post-pubescent female. You go through puberty and you become a woman.
Can an intersex person be a woman?
An intersex person absolutely can be a woman.
But an intersex person is not female.
Just like with Swyer syndrome, even though
An intersex person is not female.
Yes, they are.
No, they are. No, an intersex person is intersex. That is a different sex than male or female.
No, that's simply a variation within the
it's a variation for sure.
Binaries, categories of male and female. It's not its own whole deal. It's a variation of the sexual binary categories that are male and female.
You got me curious here. 1 second. How many sexes are there? One moment. I see something that says that's from a .com. I don't trust .coms. Only two sex forms, multiple gender variants.
There are
Interesting.
two sexes.
Let's try a different search. Is intersex a third sex?
How about National Institutes of Health.gov? Only two sex forms. There are only two sex forms.
Is intersex a third sex? Are people with intersex conditions a third gender? No. Many people with intersex conditions identify as man and woman, like many non-intersex people. That's not helping me. Intersex does not violate the sex binary. This is per a .gov. Interesting. I might have to learn some more on intersex people. Interesting. All right.
So, going back to what I was originally saying, intersex isn't there. There's only male and female sexes, right? So, as a woman, whether you're born with everything very typical with XX chromosomes, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, all of it.
Right, but those are all still related. Those are still related to your sex, not your gender.
And if you'd let me backtrack, get you there, just help me help you here. So you start and you're born a female. As you grow, you can't say an adult human female. Yeah, you can try and say that, but in one word, we are women.
No, because sex and gender are different. They're not the same thing.
See,
you can look up the definitions. You can look up the definitions.
Absolutely. And I think, that's something that I struggle with agreeing with is the fact that sex and gender are different, because you are born a female and you grow into a woman. You are born, whether you're a little girl or
sometimes if you're born a female, you grow into a man. Sometimes if you're a female, you grow into non-binary. Sex and gender are different.
No. You can, no. You can be, you can have the misconception and try to say that you're a woman, but being a woman is so much more than just, all that we are. Women are powerful, and we have a lot of history. And so
women have a lot of history.
And so it's very disconcerting to me as a woman for people to try and even argue in a circular way the definition of what I am.
I'm not arguing what you are. You are what you are. I'm arguing what I am.
I know, and I understand that. I think sometimes that trans people argue with themselves, and there's no point. We argue with
ourselves. We're a big group. We're not a monolith. We disagree on things.
Absolutely, and we can agree to disagree, but this once again is a debate, and I brought it to the table, and that's what a woman is. To me, the necessary conditions for being a woman.
Okay, but if you look at the definitions of sex and gender, they're not the same. They're different. Those words are different with different definitions.
You can't just claim one or the other.
What do you mean? You can't just claim one or the other. I don't understand.
You can't just claim to be a woman, because personally, that makes myself and I know several other women feel discredited, as though
we
can just go about that.
What is the definition of gender?
I don't know. It's changed so many times since COVID.
Since COVID, it's changed. All right. Thank you so much, Ann Wolf, for the love drop. I appreciate you. I do have something I have to address here real quick. One second. I just got a new Cash App from Jonathan, $20. I don't know if that was a Cash App to kick or not, because it doesn't say anything in the memo. I just want to know if that was intended to be a Cash App to kick. The 15 minutes was not up at the time that I received that, so I'm not going to treat it as a Cash App to kick. Let me know if you want me to refund that Cash App. Okay. Regardless, I want to continue this conversation anyways. I think it's a good conversation. Where were we?
I really don't recall.
Okay, I know that I was asking you what what the definition between what the definition of sex is and what the definition of gender is.
Right. Okay. So and I said that the definition of gender has changed, I mean, routinely since COVID started and all of this started becoming a topic of conversation.
I mean, first of all, I don't care when the definition has changed, and second of all, we've recognized the difference between sex and gender for over 80 years.
Okay. So where do you want to go with that?
I want to establish that gender and sex are different. I want to establish that gender is psychological and social, and that sex is biological. It is related to your genitalia, to your gonads. Thank you so much for the hand heart. Oh, that was sent to you, but nonetheless, yeah, it's related to your genitalia, your gonads, your chromosomes, your neurological sex, your hormonal sex. So sex and gender are not the same thing. Woman refers to gender, female refers to sex. Thank you.
Okay. Once again, you said, what is a necessary condition for being a woman? I'm telling you, it is being female.
And I'm telling you that female relates to being sex, and that sex and gender are different.
We're just going to keep going around in circles, but...
So you disagree on the definitions of sex and gender?
No, I don't disagree on it. I think it has changed more than you think. I mean, Cambridge Dictionary just amended its definition of a woman, and that's an adult who lives and identifies as a female, though they may have been said to have been a different sex at birth, right? So notice they replaced the word woman with female. It averts the circular definition, which I like, but it creates a whole new problem because female is a reference to biology. And, you know,
female is biological. Yep.
Right. And so what does it mean for a man who has XY chromosomes to identify as a person who has ovaries, uterus, and a breast when he doesn't?
Transgender women do not claim to be female. I do not claim to be female. I am male. And I'm male. Got big boobies. And I got a vagina. But I'm still male.
Okay. Well, I think the necessary condition of being a woman is being female.
Okay. Then you are denying the definitions of sex and gender. And I don't know how to work with that.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Oh, that's such a shame. We were having such a good conversation, but we were unable to move past those basic definitions that you can literally just look up in Merriam-Webster or Oxford. Like literally, it would have been so easy. I do want to look more into the intersex thing. I've been relying heavily on the intersex argument, and I might be wrong on some of the stuff there. I was treating intersex as a third sex, and it does appear that intersex might not be a third sex. So I have to look into that more. All right, everyone, tap, tap, tap away. I have no idea how long I'm going to be live for. I guess I just do random middle of the day lives now. Keep tapping. Let's see if we can get it up to 200,000 likes. We have 2,800 people watching. We should easily be able to do 200,000 likes. Share the live as well. If you are enjoying this, please give me a follow. I go live twice a day, almost every single day. I guess lately I go live 3 times a day. But yeah, if you want to see more of this, give me a follow. We are looking for opposition only, so if you're a friendly, you are very much loved, but please don't request. That does include drive-by friendlies right now.
Job? Yes, I do. This is my job. How you doing, Christy?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
I'm 41 years old.
Oh, crap. 1 second. I have something I have to do out of the app real quick. 1 second.
Sure. This is going to be quite interesting. I guess I will entertain you. Oh, Adora's back.
Okay, I apologize for that. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry, everyone. How you doing, Christy?
Great. How are you?
Okay. Doing fantastic. What is a necessary condition for being a woman?
It's definitely to be a female. I just wanted to have a conversation with you really quick about intersex, how you said it was a third gender. I have a couple of questions.
That specifically. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, third sex. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Okay, cool.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you tell me what the third set of gametes are, and the third set of actual chromosome letters are for that third gender?
What, am I frozen? No, I'm not. Okay. As far as chromosomal combinations, there's a bunch of chromosomal combinations. As far as gametes, as far as I'm aware, there's just large and small.
Right. So there's two. We could all agree that there's two sets of gametes, and there's only two letters. It's only X and Y. The combinations of X and Y. The combinations of X and Y.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see. I see what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So the combinations
Sure.
of X and Y don't necessarily make it a third gender. It's just different combinations, right? So, like when you talk about Turner syndrome is monosomy X, so it's a missing X, but it's still a female condition. When you look at Klinefelter's is XXY, but we know that that's a male condition. But even though it has a secondary female chromosome, it doesn't make it a third gender. It just makes it an abnormality.
I'm not making a claim that it's a third gender. I was making a claim that it's a third sex, and my brief amount of research during that previous guest implied that I might have been wrong about that.
Sure. I use gender and sex interchangeably because 99% of the population identifies gender and sex as exactly the same on
Sure.
the same parallel.
That is a true statement. That doesn't mean that the words mean the same thing, but it is true that they use the words interchangeably. It's just they just do so incorrectly.
Well, I do believe they're interchangeable because if somebody asks you on a piece of paper what your gender is and what your sex is, if you identify with your gender and your sex aligns with it, I think what you're referring to is your gender identity and your gender expression. So I would argue that gender and sex are exactly the same, and your gender identity and your gender maybe your gender roles are what's different.
So what is it that you know that the medical community does not? Because the medical community agrees that sex and gender are not the same thing. It's overwhelming agreement.
Sure. So if sex and gender are not the same thing, how does 99% of the people on the planet align with them as exactly the same? Is it because
99% of the people 99% of the people used to believe that the Earth was flat.
No, I
people can be wrong.
Sure, and I understand that point, but I'm asking you directly, if sex and gender are not the same, why do 99% of the population align with the exact same thing with their sex and gender?
Oh, yeah, it's because it is typical for sex and gender to be congruent. Sometimes sex and gender are not congruent.
Right, so you're going to take the really small, minute population that do not have their gender and sex aligned to use it as a painted brush for everybody else to say that sex and gender are different when most of the planet, 99% of us, identify the same. I align with my sex and gender, and a lot of other people do. Sure.
Good for you, good for them.
No, well, I'm not saying it in a deceitful type of way. I'm just being honest. So, my question to you is, why would we have to bend the rule for the really small minority of people to fit that, and not the world as a whole?
We don't. Womanhood can encompass both trans people and cis people very, very well.
Right. So do you? I know you live as a woman, and I know people will call you ma'am and miss, and I think people do that because they see that you're trying to emulate a woman. Is that fair?
I'm not trying to emulate one. I am one.
I would disagree. I would agree that you're a male, and you want to
I am male.
live as
Yep.
a woman. Right. I would say that you're a male and you want to live your life as a woman, but I think collectively, and I mean this with no disrespect, you look like a male. I'm not saying it disrespectfully. You look like a male, and again, it's only because you are a male.
What does a male look like?
I'm sorry.
Just describe my masculine features.
Your face, your voice, your chin.
Specifically, okay, I will give you my voice, but some women have deep voices. No.
Yes, but even women with deep voices can still identify. They could still be identified as a woman, a female.
Sure. You can have a deep voice and be a woman. I will give you that. Yes.
So I agree with you. So because you had bottom surgery and you have breasts, to me, I think, to me, if I saw you out in the street, I would think you're a male that is trans, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think that you would, I don't think that any woman would look at you and see a feminine woman. I mean, to me, you look like a male.
Here's how women see a masculine man. I promise you that.
You might not be a masculine man. You may be a feminine male, a feminine man, but I don't think
I got big boobs. I got big boobies.
So do I, but mine are
No
big.
one's gonna. No one who doesn't know me is gonna look at me and see a man. They're gonna see big boobs.
Sure.
Sorry. Yeah. I can't hear you. I don't know what's up with the audio. I can't hear you. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, you got an echo. So if you just go back to your phone's home screen, then come back in, that'll clear the echo. We should be good now. Fingers crossed. Are we good? Are we good? Okay. Everything's good on my end. Okay, we're good.
Okay, you're good
Yep.
on my end too. Awesome. So, like I said, and I mean this with no disrespect, you live your life as a woman because that's how you choose to live your life, and I think people address you as a woman because they portray you as trying to live your life as one. But I think, in all fairness, I think I would say collectively 99.9% of people would think that you're a trans man. You're a trans woman. I mean.
Yeah, I'm a trans woman. I'm not ashamed of that, but I'm still a woman.
Right. You're living your life as a woman, but you don't look like a woman.
What does a woman look like?
You look like a male has long hair.
Okay, so is long hair something that you have to have in order to be a woman?
No, but but most women have. A lot of women wear their hair long. It's just a feminine characteristic.
Yep. Most women have long hair. That is a true statement, but not all. Some women have short hair.
Sure.
And some men have long hair.
But it doesn't debunk the fact that they're women and they look like women.
Exactly. I agree.
If I was walking with my husband in the street, we would look at each other and we would say that's a man. Plain and simple. And it's nothing.
That's disingenuous.
It's not disingenuous. I'm being 100%.
I just got these big boobies, and I like showing them off because I just got them 2 weeks ago.
I appreciate it. Listen, I love me some big boobs. I have my own big boobs that I was born with. I get it. I understand. But I think that collectively, you're a trans woman. You look like a man emulating a woman, but I don't think that makes you a woman. That makes you a trans woman. And I think that trans women should just say that they're trans women. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You're still considered a trans woman. You got bottom surgery, so you have a vag, you have big boobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would just say that you're a trans woman and just.
And I would say that my boobs and my vagina are not what make me a woman.
So what makes you a woman?
My persistent, innate sense of self.
But men have that.
Yeah, men have a persistent, innate sense of self that tells them that they're a man. I have a persistent, innate sense of self that tells me that I'm a woman.
Right, but that doesn't make you a woman. That makes you live your life and emulate a woman.
What would you say a necessary condition for being a woman is?
Chromosomes is the big one for me. Gametes for me. And if you want to go to the argument of, well, women don't have uteruses, sure, we'll go to that argument. But again, you guys can't use the really small minority of people to prove to debunk the majority.
Yes, we can. We're looking for a rule that applies to the entire group without exception.
But
so
it doesn't
yes.
apply. It doesn't. That's the thing. If a woman, like if I couldn't get pregnant, I can go to the doctor. We know this already. Had this conversation probably 1,000 other people. We could figure out why I couldn't get pregnant. And if I still couldn't get pregnant, it doesn't matter because I'm still able to get pregnant. I still have large gametes. I still have XX chromosome. My bone structure, my genetic, my whole entire makeup is all a woman. It's not just putting implants in and getting your pishkadil cut off.
Yes, I agree. That is not what makes me a woman.
Right.
I
but
agree.
There's so much more than just your breasts and your vag, and it's your bone structure, it's your body, it's everything.
Those are related to your sex, not your gender.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm aligning your gender and sex because 99% of the world agrees with it. That's what it is. You can't use the 1% to prove your point. That's all I'm saying.
99% of the world used to think that the earth is flat. Sometimes the majority is wrong. Do I have Venmo? Yes, I do.
but not in this case. Not in this case, unfortunately. Not in
Okay,
this.
on what grounds am I wrong in saying that sex and gender are different?
Sex and gender are absolutely parallel. However, your gender identity is different than your gender. Your gender expression is
Yeah,
different.
gender identity and gender expression are different things. Yes, that is a true statement. But we're not talking about that. In this case, we're talking about the difference between sex and gender.
Correct. But I believe that gender and sex are the same, and I believe gender identity and your gender expression are different. I think that's what you're emulating. You're using gender. You're expressing your gender as woman. You're expressing your identity as a woman, but your gender is still male, and your sex is still male. What you're expressing.
I'm not making any claim that I am female. I'm not.
I understand.
Okay.
I totally
But
understand.
so what I'm trying to get at here is, someone just said I wasted 3K. Oh no, I spent a lot more than 3K. What do you think the definitions are for sex and gender? That's what I want to talk about, is the difference.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why,
Yeah.
when you're having a debate, why do you use the small population of women that have like no uterus? Like, is it only because you don't have a uterus that you're using them as like a fallback definition? Because I feel, for me as a woman with a uterus who had 2 children, I feel like it's very insulting to say, like, well, what about the women without uteruses? What about women with ambiguous genitalia? What about women that don't get their periods? For me, you shouldn't be using that as an argument. It's
Okay.
very hurtful for women that don't have uteruses.
When I make that argument, I am validating women without uteruses. I am saying that, yes, just because you don't have a uterus does not make you any less of a woman. I am saying that women without uteruses are women, 100%.
Sure, but we already know that they're women. My friend is 42 years old and she had a hysterectomy. We know that she's a woman. We've never had the conversation that she was not a woman because she chose to get her uterus removed. So we already could acknowledge collectively as an entire population that women that don't have uteruses, or women that are in their through menopause, or women that are in their 60s that can no longer have children, are still biological women and biological females. They're still women. It doesn't matter. But to use an argument of somebody that's born without a uterus to say that not all women have uteruses, to me is just asinine. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. That's like me saying I was born with no toes. But
Christy, I've got Cash App to kick you. You have a nice day.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thank you for the Cash App. Guys, like 6 people just Cash App to me. So if anyone wants a refund, please let me know. You can either DM me. Most of what I was just sent was a Venmo. So Venmo, you can let me know right on the app if you want a refund. But like so many people just Cash App to me. So if anyone would like a refund, you are welcome to it. Can you guys hear me? Guys, I got smoked. According to chat, I got smoked on that one, huh? I got smoked. According to chat. Yeah, no, after 15 minutes, I do allow people to pay to kick. Yeah, it is a good source of income, guys. It is a good source of income. But in case you guys couldn't hear me, I just wanted to say that a bunch of people Venmoed me all at the same time. So if anyone who did Venmo me to kick the previous guest would like a refund, please let me know. Thank you so much for the Forever Rosa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you want a refund, let me know. How am I feeling? I am feeling fantastic. 1 second, guys. Let me get some water here. I know I had some. Oh, fuck. I don't know where my water is. Oh, there it is. How did it get on the fucking floor? Okay. Okay, if you guys are enjoying this, please give me a follow. I go live twice a day, almost every day. Lately, 3 times a day. This live is killing it, so I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys are enjoying this too. I'm having a lot of fun. I think these have been good conversations. I have enjoyed every single one of these conversations. Okay, someone did request. I'll take a look. I'll take a look at all the Venmo stuff afterwards. Show you got paid? Yeah. Can you pay to get her back? You cannot. Yeah. Guys, tap away. Let's see if we can get up to 200,000. Share the live. We're going to bring up the next guest right now.
Oh, you put me back?
Oh, you were already up here.
I was. You just kicked me
Are you the same person I just spoke to?
just 2 seconds ago, but I'll be happy to stay.
Oh my God.
I'm happy to stay. They want me
Christy,
back.
I did enjoy our conversation. But I was paid to kick you, so you have a good day.
Whoops, that's how good my short-term memory is, guys.
How you doing, Eva Grace?
Hi.
How old are you, please?
I'm 19 years old.
Fantastic. What year were you born?
04.
04. All right. And what is a necessary condition for being a woman?
Well, I want to start with asking you what your definition of being a woman is.
It's someone with a persistent, innate sense of self that says that they're a woman.
Okay. So I looked up by Cambridge Dictionary is the first resource of this, which is a .org organization. What is the universal definition of a woman? And that is an adult female human being. And I looked
That's one of the definitions. There's a bunch of others.
And there are many other .org definitions for this. Every .com that I was seeing said, oh, it's someone who identifies with being a woman. So every scientific and technical definition you look at is being an adult female. And you yourself said being a female is someone who is born with female genitalia, correct?
Generally, not always.
So, or someone who's intersex and grows into a woman, because the term intersex means I'm sorry, I'm stumbling with my words at the moment. The term intersex, you're born with, it's kind of like halfway between if you're born with male or female genitalia and something that is genetically wrong with your body when you are born that way. Intersex is not someone who chooses to be between the two. So if by definition of scientific organizations that you are not a woman, if you are not a female, you are a man with gender dysmorphia emulating and portraying a woman. I'm not saying you cannot be feminine and you cannot have those traits and have boobs and look pretty and anything like that at all. It's just that you cannot claim to be a woman because by definition and by, like Christy said, 99% of the population say. That's kind of my two piece. I don't know how that can be debated. As I've
Easily. You brought up, you were using definitions, and I also have definitions. They come from things like Merriam-Webster, from Oxford, etc.
Yes, and we can also claim that this goes along with the agenda that has just now been pushed within the past, I'm going to say 3.5 years, 4 years. I'm not saying political agenda. I'm not saying that.
Got news for you. Trans people have been around a lot longer than that. Thank you for the crown.
I agree with that. I have trans family members who have been around way longer than that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being trans and dressing or getting the surgeries or being the way you are. With a child doing that, that's a different conversation. But there's nothing wrong with that in any sort of way. But saying that you are a woman because by definition it is a female woman. I went and looked. I think it was either 3.5 or 4 years ago, Oxford University and 2 other universities that changed their definition in different dictionaries have now changed their definition of what a woman is with the agenda
right, because that's what dictionaries do. They use the definitions that society is using for words.
But when we look at it, it's actually only, I believe, I've had this conversation before, I believe it was only 78.6% of society agrees and goes along with any kind of ideology or trans idealism. So it's not by definition of what society is using in that sense either. It's by what has been pushed with what I believe, and I'll sound like every typical conservative, the
Yeah.
mainstream everything in this world.
So why is it important to you to invalidate trans identities?
I'm not invalidating them at all. I
Yes,
I
you are. You are. You
I
are. You are making the claim that trans people are not valid in our
so
identity.
I work with kids, and I have forever through 4-H, through FFA, and through V University, MSU, in Montana State. And
And
I
what will
have
you do if you have
children
a
who try
transgender
to
child?
identify as women.
Okay.
They were young, and I watched them grow as young, like two little boys or a girl as well, who wanted to be, or they just had the traits of being more boyish or being more girlish. One of them wanted to be an actual woman and called a woman, but the other two accepted and know the fact that they are not women. They were born, or that little boy is not a woman, or that little girl is not a man. They have accepted that they were born how they are, but it is perfectly acceptable for them to still have those traits in society.
Wait.
It's
So when
perfectly
a child
okay.
comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm transgender," what how do you respond?
I say okay because it's not my place to say anything, and also with the way society is, I will
And
1,000% get shut down by anyone if I
and you
say
use their preferred
and in my
pronouns?
say-so of not agreeing with someone being transgender. If a child comes up to me and says they're transgender and have gone through transgender surgeries, I'm not going to say anything
Children don't go
because I
through
know with a lot of people,
children don't go through surgeries. Nonetheless, what I want to
my
know is
my president
let's say
accepted in
you've got a kid.
California in multiple states to be allowed to have genital surgeries. Yes, it has been
Yeah, no,
allowed actually.
no. Okay, so
Yes,
if you
you
have
can look it
a
up. There's
stop,
also
all right, that's
studies
not what we're
that
talking about. Stop. Okay, so if you have a child, who's a boy, who you've known as a boy, and they come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm actually a girl. If you could use feminine pronouns and use this new name for me, what are you gonna do?"
I'll call them by their new name and I'll use their pronouns because it's not my place to not do so because
Fantastic.
society
Good.
has
That's all I
accepted.
wanted to hear. That's all I wanted to hear.
But
We didn't need to go everywhere else there.
it's not that I agree with it per se. It's just that it's not my place to not do what makes you happy.
Okay, I agree with that. So validating trans identities benefits transgender people. Agreed?
Yes, but that I agree that it would. Yes, I do agree with that. Yes, actually,
Okay.
I cannot go along with that. Or I cannot not go along with that. Yes, if I agreed with someone that they wanted to be a woman or a man and they were not that, that would make them happier. Yes,
Fantastic.
but that does not mean that it's right. That's crossing a line at that point. A man
Okay.
saying he's a woman, a grown man who just has
Transgender women are not
to
men.
have boobs and
Transgender men are not women. Transgender women are not men.
is not a woman. That's
Transgender women are not men.
but by definition, you are just a man emulating a woman. You are not a woman or female. So what are
Okay.
you?
I want to proceed down the line that I was going. Is there any cost to you to validate trans identities? Is your life made any worse by validating trans identities?
Well, that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about what is a woman, and you keep dodging the subject. You've gotten very flustered. It's not.
Oh
I
yeah,
really
it's
hope someone pays
Eva. I'm going to make this very, very clear. It pisses me off when people insist on invalidating trans identities. It makes me so angry because it causes so much harm, Eva. It causes so much harm. It literally costs us our lives while it costs you nothing to validate us. So I'm glad that you validate trans kids. I'm glad that you do. But we gotta take that beyond just your classroom.
It has not ruined people's lives.
Oh
I know
no.
multiple
No, no, no,
people
no,
in
no, no,
my
no, no.
community who
No.
have gone
Eva,
through
no. No.
transgenital surgeries.
No.
I'm going to continue
No.
talking because you're not
Stop
going to shut me
talking.
down.
Stop.
And
Yes, I'm going to shut you down right now. Okay. So the unaliving ideation rate for transgender people is astronomically high. Astronomically. Specifically for children, it is above 50%. 50% of transgender kids wish that they weren't here anymore. And approximately 20% make an attempt on their lives. The reason that this happens is because, thank you so much for the sub, Tuna, I appreciate you. The reason that this happens is due to lack of acceptance, mostly from parents, but sometimes from friends, teachers, students, workplace, etc. and due to lack of gender affirming care. When a child has acceptance from at least one parent and access to gender affirming care, the self-unaliving ideation rate drops by 70%. And what the rhetoric that you're spewing is the kind that prevents us from having that acceptance and prevents us from having access to gender affirming care. Thank you so much for the hand heart. You can unmute now. Oops, I accidentally muted you. I'm sorry. That was not intentional. So,
So,
thank you for the sub.
at the fact that this debate has turned into me getting muted and it is now completely one-sided, I will no longer continue with this debate. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Adios.
Oh, wow, guys. She got a community guidelines violation. She didn't leave on her own of her own accord. She got banned. She got banned. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the hand hearts. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. I don't know. How do I want to handle the rest of this live? Thank you so much. Here's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking we're going to do this for another hour. We're going to do this till about 6:15. And let's see, how long we've been on? We've been on for an hour and a half. So yeah, let's do another hour of 1v1s. And for the last hour, we are going to do sub only. The chat is going to be sub only for the final hour.
Hello, Melody. How you doing?
I'm good. So I'm trans.
Fantastic. I do need to know your age and your age, though.
I'm 32.
Fantastic. Proceed. Floor is yours.
All right. So I've been trans now for almost 15 years. Living, working as what society would deem as a woman, right? I agree with Ava on so many points. And I don't view as what she's saying as hate, because it's really important. What I believe is happening is we as trans women are pushed to fit this mold of quote unquote womanhood. And I think that's what drives us to feel depression, to feel unhappy with ourselves. When we start defining ourselves as trans women and being happy with that narrative, that we transition to emulate women and be as close to women as possible while still respecting their safe places and still respecting what they've done.
Surely you're not suggesting that trans women should not have access to women's spaces such as restrooms?
That's not, no, I use the women's restroom.
Okay.
I use the women's restroom, and I've never, ever had an issue, ever. Now, of course, I pass, and I have an extreme amount of passing privilege, and I've always had. I live mostly stealth in my social life. I think on social media, I'm way more open than I would ever be in real life. And it's not out of necessarily fear, but I do believe that we have to respect women as they should respect us, but we need to be fully transparent with ourselves, and we need to be fully accepting of ourselves and our journey as trans women. We are not just women. We are not biological women. We have a different journey, and that needs to be appreciated.
Our journey as trans women is different than the journey of a cis woman, but we are still women.
Our lives are, although they have very many intersecting points, they're also entirely different in many ways. A lot of biological women who don't live in the LGBT umbrella would never understand what our path was like, just like we may never understand what the path is like fully for a biological woman. And I think that is
for cis women, yes. Biological just means that you're a living organism. So yeah, I
Sure,
am
but I mean,
right.
a young woman. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. You can
No problem.
finish.
No, I'm sorry. I think I may have cut you off. Actually, you may proceed.
I just think it's not talked about enough. Our standpoint or our perspective. I think it's always, trans women are trying to be women. We're trying to be women, women, women. And it's like, we don't talk about enough about being proud to be trans women and to include that trans piece because it's very, very important. And I often feel like we get caught up in trying to be biological women, if that makes any sense.
Well, I promise you this. I'm very open about how proud I am to be trans. But again, biological just means that you're a living organism. They're a living organism. So yeah, I am a woman and I am a living organism. Therefore, I'm a biological woman. As are cis women, as are trans women, etc.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I recognize that trans women and cis women are different. We have different bodies. We have different life experiences. We are socialized differently. I don't deny any of that. But we are still women, right? We agree that we're still women?
See, yes. So I believe it's a different path. I don't want to say subcategory because I don't want to make it seem like any human is lesser than another by saying sub. But in many ways, I grew up male. I was a little boy. I was raised as a boy. So my walk of life as a woman, and I very rarely ever use woman on its own. I always use trans woman, my experience as a trans woman, my life as a trans woman, because now I am not pitting myself up against or comparing myself to the walk of life of somebody that I cannot fully emulate, I suppose, or...
I wouldn't say that we're trying to emulate cis women. I was saying that we're just trying to be women. There's no right way to be a woman, right? Thank you so much for the hand heart.
100%.
Yep.
And as long as that is transparent. Now, of course, I'm highly against medical transition for youth. I think that
What
is...
specifically do you mean by that? Because there's a lot that goes into that. You could mean anything by that. We might agree, we might disagree.
Medical transition as far as like taking hormones before you are of legal age. I feel like that is only because...
You're off the app. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So because of this new trend, I feel like being trans has become a trend. I've been trans for 15 years. So I
would argue you've been trans your whole life.
What was that?
I would argue that you've been trans your whole life.
Right. Well, of course, yes. I've been trans since, I've had gender identity issues since I was a child. I'm as far as I can remember, my earliest memories, I've had gender dysphoria or feelings of why was I not born a woman? Why wasn't I born female, et cetera? All these thoughts when I was a kid before there were even documentaries or trans people to look up to or to be able to say, wow, I can do this. This is possible. Because it really wasn't very known up until I think Caitlyn Jenner, came out. I think that's when it started.
I definitely think that Caitlyn Jenner was the catalyst that launched us into the spotlight. I agree with that.
And now I kind of feel like that's caused me to seclude myself a little bit more because the conversation has become so muddled. We see a lot of headlines that make trans people look terrible. And I think a lot of it just becomes so misconstrued just because...
You're making a few points. I would like an opportunity to address, Ellie, to address some, sorry. You mentioned it being a trend, and I understand why it would appear to be a trend, but I don't think it is. For instance, if we look at the left-handed population, we saw a spike in the left-handed population because for ages and ages and ages, being left-handed was literally considered demonic, and it would literally be beaten out of you if you were left-handed. But then once we finally realized, oh, hey, this is silly. Left-handed people are perfectly healthy, normal people. They're not demons. And it started to become socially acceptable to be left-handed. We saw a boom in the population of left-handed people. And then that left-handed population plateaued. It did not get higher, did not get lower. We saw it spike and then plateau. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. I think we're seeing that spike for the trans community, but we're also going to see it plateau once it becomes fully socially acceptable. Because that's where we are right now. Being trans is becoming socially acceptable. We are more aware of trans people. So there is an illusion of a spike in the population because more people are both A, aware of what it means to be transgender, and B, it is more socially acceptable to be transgender.
Oh, 100%. And I definitely see your point on that. And I agree with that. I don't doubt that. And I see a lot of comments saying, I can't believe she's calling it a trend. And I'm really not trying to offend anyone when I say that. But the truth of the matter is the youth are very easily influenced. And we have to look at a lot of young people who might be making a decision at a young age that they may not agree with later on. And once you medically transition, although there are some things you can do to take back a lot of the things that you did to medically transition, some things cannot. And that's why I think proper mental evaluation is so important, and possibly waiting until your brain is at a more mature stage for you to make such a huge decision for, we may
Melody,
see it.
do you mind if I break my 1v2 rule and bring up a mom of a trans child, assuming she wants to come up, that is?
Sure.
So yeah, if this person would like to come up, they are welcome to. I don't know why I'm being so secretive. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. Mel, if you would like to come up, you're welcome to. If you want to. If you don't, that's fine too.
And I don't vote red. Like, I'm seeing a lot of comments I feel like are not understanding what I'm trying to say. I don't vote red. I'm actually very against both sides for many different reasons. I can agree with both sides on some things. So I'm definitely not red or blue.
Okay.
It's not about that for me. I just want to make that very clear for some people in the comments that are just like trying to make me a villain.
So you understand how high the self-unaliving ideation rate is for trans youth, right?
100%. I've lost many friends
Okay.
to the battle.
So what is your proposal to help transgender kids, if not gender affirming care?
I think it needs to begin with affordable therapy for people.
Agreed.
To
Therapy
be
is
able
part
to,
of the process.
Yeah,
Currently.
100%. And we are terrible,
Thank you for the song.
in this country it's hard to get healthcare. A lot of these kids don't have the money, or their parents don't have the money. School counselors are sometimes more political than not. They try to drive a narrative. And I think we just need more health professionals that are able to intervene in a child's most delicate time.
That is one of the first. That's one of the first steps towards medical transition, is getting a therapist for a child, at least. It's different for adults, but for a child, you must speak with a qualified therapist for a certain amount of time before you're able to do any kind of medical transition. So that is part of the process, and that therapy is not enough to alleviate the dysphoria for all children. So if children. So children who get the therapy are still going to have this high unaliving ideation rate.
Sure, absolutely. And I think another thing, though, is trans influencers. And I think a lot of times the reality of transition isn't spoken up of enough. I know that for some people, this might seem like it's so simple and it's so easy. But, I saw someone saying that I'm fear mongering. Transitioning is scary. Transitioning is difficult.
It's terrifying. But what's really scary to me is the high unaliving ideation rate. It's so astronomically high, and we know how to get it down. We know how to. The process that we have in place, it's working. It's working really, really well. Really well. So I don't see why we want to deny kids access to this. The regret rate is so astronomically small. 97% of trans people in general who start a medical transition end up happily transitioned. And of the 3% who end up detransitioning, most detransition due to lack of social acceptance and lack of money. Only 0.4% of all transitioners end up detransitioning due to realizing that they are cisgender.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do also believe that the rate is higher for female to male transitioners, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
I don't actually know.
I'm almost sure it is the regret rate that whatever numbers may be, and I'm sorry I don't have them in front of me, but I've done some research in the past about it before, and it seems as though it tends to be mostly female to male transitioners that have that regret rate, I suppose. But again, I'm not spewing out numbers here, so I don't want to say this is fact. Look it up on your own. I also have to look it up as well. I didn't really expect to come on here and speak, but there are some things that I just had to get off my chest, and I appreciate you having me on. I don't really have much more at the moment, but I
What,
am.
Melody, what I want, before you go, what I want
Sure.
is your solution. Because I think that the solution that we have is working extremely well. Yes, there are some people who end up regretting. Yes, and those people deserve access to the care that they need.
Sure.
But those people represent such a small percent of the community. So what should we be doing to help kids now, if not gender affirming care? We know that therapy on its own is usually not enough. Usually transgender kids need more than just therapy in order to alleviate the high unaliving ideation rate.
There's two things for me, one of which I try to live by every single day, and it's just being a positive example of a trans person in the real world, not an influencer. I work a regular job where I manage over 160 employees every single day. I'm a manager, I'm loved in my community. I cater.
I'm glad that you have reach. I'm glad that you are visible. That's awesome.
Right, and I will say that's super important to be just a regular. We often forget about the regular trans people, not the famous ones, not the ones that are, have millions of followers, the ones that are just regular people that are moms and brothers and sisters and working at your, local gas station or working in, Target as a manager. All those people are so important. And as much as we, people want to laugh at that or say, really, you're talking about someone that works at Target, like they're an integral part of our society, and we have to
Okay, but
acknowledge
is visibility enough to alleviate distress? Is it enough to alleviate dysphoria? Is it enough to
no.
get
So that
that?
is my second one. So that was my first one. My second one is just making mental health a priority in our country and finding a way where we can get it out to our youth for free or whatever we can do to get it so that they have the right people to speak to that aren't tied to some, if it's a red state, for instance, that these medical professionals aren't going to be biased. They're going to do their
Right,
jobs as professionals to assess these children correctly.
but the unaliving ideation rate doesn't drop in blue states if the child doesn't have access to gender affirming care and acceptance.
No, I don't know the numbers 100%. I'm going to go with what you're saying, and I agree. I'm sure that's 100% true. But I still believe as though there is a false ideology being put out there that transition is going to save everyone.
But okay, no. First of all, we're not making the claim that it's going to save everyone. Second of all, it basically does. Like 96%. It's between 96 and 97% of all transitioners end up happily transitioned.
And
having
those people,
and access to gender affirming care for children drops the unaliving ideation rate by 70%. That's we don't see that elsewhere. We don't see that anywhere else. We don't see that in antidepressants. We don't see that anywhere. The 70% is just unheard of. It's wildly successful. Why are we trying to take this away from kids? Why are we trying to force transgender kids to go through the trauma of puberty if we can avoid it? Thank you so much for the sub.
So maybe that would be another answer as well. Proper people in place to be able to give these numbers out and help people understand the goal with children and medical transition. I know after today, I'm definitely going to give a little bit more thought, and I'm going to do a little bit more research, because again, what's plastered to us is what's on the media, right? And it's almost always negative when it comes to trans people. So positive influence for me is a big one, and seeing more people talking about these things to be able to shed light on it on a larger scale. So whatever.
Right, that's what I literally reach well over 1 million people a week. That's what I do. I talk about this, and I talk and I talk and I talk until I can't freaking breathe.
Well, I appreciate it. And again, I'm not coming on here to argue at all, just to learn. I think that's why I mostly come onto these things, and I really appreciate your time.
Okay. Mel, have a good one. Please, please really look into what gender affirming care does for trans youth. It helps so much. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, we are 7 subs away from 1,000. Again, we were at 1,000 and then we dropped by 70 subscribers, and now we're okay. Now we're almost at 1,000 subscribers again, guys. Let's do it. Let's get it done. By the end of this live, guys, let's get 7 new subscribers. Everyone keep tapping that screen. Let's see if we can hit 300,000 likes. We are going to stay sub only for the remainder of the live. The live will end at 6:15. And then, Mel, if you're still listening, I promise I will at least make a background, and then we can start talking about the background. Because Mel and I are doing a duo live tomorrow night. Mel and I are going to be co-hosting, and it's going to be just the two of us versus one op. So like the opposite of this, instead of a 1v1, it's going to be Mel and I 2 versus 1 op. Just the two of us. We're each going to have fancy backgrounds or something like that. We're trying to figure it out. Thank you so much for the sub. What happened to my... Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is happening tomorrow night. We don't know what time. Rar, thank you so much. Thank you for the sub, Kenny. Appreciate you. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying these conversations, please give me a follow. I go live twice a day, almost every day. And we have 278 new followers just off of this 2-hour live. So thank you so much, everyone. We're going to bring up the next guest now. Just a reminder, we're looking for op only. Thank you so much, Stylish Bambin Co. for subbing. I appreciate you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much, Wicked Goddess. I appreciate this resubscription. 3 subs away, guys. 3 subs away. Thank you so much, Hypnotic. Appreciate you.
Hi,
How you doing, Banana?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing all right? How old are you, please?
I am definitely old enough to be on here.
Fantastic. I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but I do need an... Oh, okay, there we go. What is the necessary condition for being a woman? I love your hat. Love it.
For, you know, yes, you're bored. I mean, I was born with a vulva and a uterus and ovaries, and that's just the way that I was born. So,
Would you say that all women are born with uteruses?
I would, yes.
Did you know
All
that 1 in
biological
5,000... yes. Did you know that 1 in 5,000 women are born without uteruses?
1 in 5,000? That seems like an anomaly. Not normal. So,
Atypical. I would say it is not typical. That is sure for sure. But would you say that a cisgender woman who is female, who identifies as a woman but does not have a uterus, are they any less of a woman?
I guess it would depend.
Thank you,
I
Stylish.
mean, like, if you are a man born with balls, testicles, a penis, and then you transition into a woman, then that's a whole different kind of thing
Right, that is a
than
whole different
just
thing, which
being
is why I'm
born.
asking about the which is why I'm asking. What was I going to say? Fuck. Which is why I'm asking about are cisgender women born without uteruses, are they still women?
I don't know. I don't know what their
Sergeant
chromosomes
Spain, thank you.
are. I don't
Okay,
know
in
what
this
health problems they have. I don't know
for the
what.
sake of this argument, it's called fuck. I don't know what it's called, but the 1 in 5,000 women that are born without uteruses, they still have XX chromosomes. They still have feminine levels of estrogen and testosterone.
But
They
that's
still
like a
identify
really
as
like
women.
that's like a minute. It's like saying that like Okay, so for the small percentage of detransitioners that happen, maybe
I
transitioning shouldn't
really,
be
really
something that
want to
should
engage
happen.
in this point specifically. Thank you so much for the hand art.
So,
I would love
well,
to
no,
talk
I'm
about these
just,
other things as well, but it's important that we finish
well, I
this
mean,
line of thought
can
first.
we stick to
Thank
the
you.
majority of
No,
reasons
we
instead
cannot.
of the minor? Okay. So, like, the small percentage of detransitioners should make up for the reason why transition shouldn't be a thing for minors.
Okay. Why am I struggling to get an answer from you here? Is a cisgender woman born without a uterus any less of a woman than a cisgender woman born with a uterus?
I mean, I guess it would really depend on the situation.
Depending on what situation.
I don't know. You tell me. What's the situation?
The only situation I'm giving you is that they're a cisgender woman without a uterus. That's it. That's the situation.
A cisgender woman without a uterus. Okay. Well, I also
Thank
mentioned
you.
ovaries. I also mentioned a vulva, clitoris, like the whole female, like thing.
This is very
Then
Trumpian of you, completely avoiding the question.
So, if a woman is born with female genitalia, doesn't that make them a female? What were you born with?
I need.
Were you born with a vulva? Were you born with the female parts
Okay,
that I
so
was
here's what's
born
going to
with?
happen, Banana. I need you to either give me an answer to whether or not a woman born without
So
a
no, you
uterus is
weren't.
a woman, or I
Because
need you
I've
to drop.
watched
Your
yours.
choice. Your
Don't.
choice. Your choice of
You
Banana.
can drop me
But
if you want.
but
People love me
this is your
though.
choice. This is your
People
choice. You
love
can
me.
either
Look at
answer my
them.
question or
Look
you
at
can
them.
drop. Your choice.
Look at them. They love me. I was born with a vulva. I was born with the
Have a
female.
good one.
You too.
She literally would not answer a single question. Yeah, I heard she has some super problematic stuff on her profile too. Okay, next up.
One more sub till 1,000 subs.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much, Lisa. Amanda Davis, thank you so much. Thank you for the hand heart. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear
How
me?
you doing, Rainbow? Yes,
I'm
I
doing
can.
good. Yeah, well, it's not really a debate, but it's more of an annoyance that everybody talks about all these physical conditions for being a woman,
I
which,
do
in
need to know
my
your age
view,
first.
48,
I asked everyone there. Okay, fantastic. Proceed.
that not have absolutely nothing to do with being a woman or whether you feel like one or not. Nothing. It may be the literal definition term of a woman as an adult female, but a person can be a female, and like myself, I'm gender fluid. I don't always feel like a female. I feel like a man sometimes. But I have no physical attributes of a male other than how I perceive the world and how I think. And it annoys me that people get so caught up in the physicalness of what a woman is
Me too. Me too,
that they
Rainbow.
forget all the spiritual part of it that people just don't always have.
Rainbow, I appreciate you very much, but are you opposition? I'm looking to host debates right now.
No, but I really wanted that to put that out there, and I'm
I
sorry.
agree with you completely. No, you. Oh, geez, Rainbow, you're good. I agree with everything you said. I love you. I think you're amazing. Thank you for coming up here and saying your piece. I appreciate you.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I
But
will drop.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
You
bye.
have a good day. Okay, Rainbow.
Yep, you too.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Can you hear
Everyone,
me?
show Rainbow some love in chat. Let's get some W rainbows in chat. How you
Can
doing?
you hear
The
me?
heart of? Yeah. Yes, I can.
Eros. Yeah. So
How old are you,
I'm
please?
neutral. I'm 33.
Fantastic. Go for it.
So I'm neutral. It depends on if you believe that gender is a spectrum when you're talking about only the personality or if you're talking about the physical. So if you're
Yeah, I
talking
believe that
about,
gender and sex are different, and that gender is psychological and social. Thank you, Carly. Appreciate the sub.
okay. So if you believe that there's gender roles, then it becomes conflicted. I personally don't believe that there's gender roles anymore in American society because roles that were normally women would be able to do, men could do, and roles that men did, women can do as well. So because of that, I don't really think that there needs to be a spectrum anymore, and I feel people should just live as they are.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have an opposition perspective you want to talk about?
So my position would be against both parties. So it would be against transgenderism and also the traditional roles like straight. I think
It's
that most
it's
people are
not
going
an
to go more of
ism.
a
I mean,
non-binary
being
spectrum.
transgender is not an ism. We're
So
just
what?
transgender. Being transgender isn't an ism. It's not an ideology.
Okay.
Yep.
So I feel that everyone's going to start to go to a point when it's more non-binary, so there's not going to be any roles anymore. So I'm the opposite on both parties. I believe that sex as a spectrum is going to be kind of gone, especially since when it comes to reproducing, it's getting to the point where we're going to be able to make lab babies, where like you can pretty
But
much make multiple babies with multiple partners without
gender
actually
has
having to
nothing to
have
do with the
sex.
ability to reproduce.
I never said that either. I'm saying that it's getting to a point that genderism, which it comes to gender roles, is not going to be important anymore. Where I feel like it's going to get to a point where if you want to have, okay, never mind. I think I'm kicked off, right? Oh
No,
no, I'm still here.
no, you're
Sorry.
good. I was trying to find my mustache because I knew I was about to get a hat. I'm trying to find my mustache. I can still hear you though.
Okay.
You are not kicked off. Definitely not. You have definitely not said anything. But
Yeah. So
basically, unless I get Cash App to kick after the 15-minute mark, the only thing that's going to get you kicked really is a threat or a slur.
okay. No, I try to be
Yeah.
as like jokes aside. This is different when I do stand up, but like in general, when I talk to people, I try to be as respectful as possible. But I do think it's going to get to a point because of the fact that I do like what the last person said or two before that. I do think it is starting to become more of a fad where a lot of people are identifying as trans or non-binary now. So I think it is going to get to a point, especially if the Western ideology spreads to other countries where the gender is not going to be on the spectrum anymore, and
This is
kids are
not a
going
Western
to
ideology.
children are
As a
going to.
matter of fact, Western colonization is what brought out the two gender the gender binary. If we look at
Of
throughout the
course, if you're talking
history of
about
the
like
world,
Africa and yeah, I
yeah,
agree
like
that you have places
okay,
like in Africa or in South America, parts of Asia, yes, where like people live very neutral. But in general, most of the world until like recently, we're kind of going on a binary aspect. So I think it's going to go back to that point where it's not really a binary anymore. It's not going to be male or female anymore. It's just people are going to live as is.
male.
So
Okay, so though
unless we're doing the traditional roles, go ahead.
uh, male and female refers to sex, not gender. You're
Okay,
muted if you're
go ahead.
talking. There you go. Yep.
Hello.
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. What did you say?
Male and female refers to sex, not gender.
Okay, yes. So I said that I think it's going to get to a point that we're not going to use gender roles. So it goes kind of back to like, why do I hear myself twice?
If you have an echo on your end, you may need to go to your phone's home screen and then come back into the app. Thank you so much for the mirror. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think it's not repeating itself now.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. So I think it's going to get to a point that, like I said, everyone's going to be very neutral again. So the whole feeling like how people feel like they need to transition their body to reflect how they feel inside, I think it's going to kind of fade away again, except for certain people with gender dysphoria, because they're going to get to a point that it really doesn't matter about these gender roles anymore. So I think it is going to be very neutral again, where it's like people just going to live as they are, and it's not going to be as important. And even for
Okay, I
feeling like
mean,
they need,
like, are you saying that you disagree
it's
with
going to get
that?
away.
So do you think that's a bad thing? Like, I'm confused as to where we're going here.
Uh, I don't know. Like I used to say yes, but I feel like now with generation with technology, it doesn't really matter so much because I feel like it becomes neutral. So it won't be offensive on either party because it will just be very neutral. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, I'm struggling to tell if you're
But
opposition or not.
I'm probably,
Are trans women
probably already
women?
noticed.
Are trans women women?
Trans women are women. I think trans women are trans women. I don't think
So,
they're women.
but we're not women.
Because if you're saying the spectrum, women would be on the opposite spectrum. They're trans women or trans women. Because trans
Okay,
mean that you're becoming something. It's like transracial.
no.
So if you want to identify stereotypical roles, it's the same concept.
Okay, so being transgender does not mean transitioning. It's a common misconception. It's kind of why I don't love the word transgender. But we're not going to be able to change that word. That's not going to happen. Word transgender. That's the word that we have. Um,
But there's a
the
lot of
idea is that
there's a lot of
the
older
common
trans.
misconception. Can I finish, please? Sorry. Um,
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, the common misconception is that being transgender means transitioning from one thing to another, but that's not what it means. It just means that our sex and our gender don't align.
Which would still mean the same thing as transitioning to something to
No,
reflect what you feel inside, correct?
no. All it means is that my sex, which is male, and my gender, which is female, are not congruent.
True. So I said, so I don't disagree with that. There are two
Okay.
opposite things. You just want to reflect what you feel like when you're inside. This is why I say it's trans. Maybe because the trans words maybe it throws me off, but it's because when we're using the word woman, I'm automatically thinking the XX chromosome thing. If you're saying trans woman, it just defines that I know that you have XY, but you are passing as woman. I would still treat you as woman, especially the more possible
But it
in
doesn't mean that I
presenting
have XY.
stereotypical women roles.
Being transgender, being a trans woman does not mean that I have XY chromosomes. It means I probably have XY chromosomes, but it does not mean that I do. You can be intersex and be a trans woman.
Yeah, but
You
intersex
can
is a very
be
small minority. This is a
Jesus
very
Christ.
minority group, so it's very hard to use. But in the majority of
Okay,
trans
we are
women would be
looking for
XY.
we're looking for a necessary condition. The purpose of this debate is to find a necessary condition. In order for something to be a necessary condition, it has to apply to the entire group without exception. Therefore, all minorities have to be accounted for.
If you want to use all the minorities, yes, but you're talking about a very small group. It would be like way less than 1,000 people if you're talking about that. It's not even a lot
There's
of
more than
intersex people
1,000
in general.
intersex
So
people.
that's a,
There's way more than
I didn't
1,000
say there.
intersex people.
I never said that there's not more than 1,000 intersex people. I'm saying intersex people who identify themselves as being trans women or trans men.
All right, let's take a look. Oh crap, where's my mouse? I don't know where my mouse is. There it is. Transgender intersex population. See if I can find any quick numbers. How many transgender and intersex people live in the United States? But those don't. Fuck. Of course, there's an ad blocker. The ad blocker doesn't work. They're not just going to be straight numbers, are they? I just want straight numbers. It gives me an entire damn article. Yeah, that's not going to give me what I want. All right, I can't find these numbers off the top of my head. I guarantee you, there are more than 1,000 intersex transgender people.
Of
I
course,
guarantee you.
I'm using this a random number. I'm just saying that in general is a very small percentage in a very small percentage of people.
Right, and I
The
don't
difference,
care. I don't care
yeah,
about how small of a percentage it is. We are looking for a rule that
understand that.
applies to the entire group without
I can
exception.
respect that. I can respect that. But for instance, for me, the identifying trans woman and woman also is the situation as well when it comes to the aspect of dating as well. For instance, me, when I first had my first interaction with someone who was trans woman, they never admitted to me that they were a trans woman at all. They present themselves only as woman. So I should have the decision if I wanted to be even
Okay, this is a
introduced
whole
into
different.
LGBT to, of course. So I don't have a problem with that. But the reason why when we use certain pronouns, it's okay to have pronouns. Like
The
you can
heart
use
of.
pronouns, but when we the heart of arrows.
I
But
really
I
want
feel
to
like
stick to. We're topic jumping like crazy here. We're not stopping to focus on any one thing. I really want to focus on one thing, and the thing that I want to focus on is what is a necessary condition for being a woman. Like we can have the conversation about whether or not trans people should disclose or not,
my
but
thing
that's a different topic.
mine was very simple. I feel like to be identified as a woman, if you want to identify that as your pronoun, you have to have XX chromosome. If you have XY
Okay.
chromosome, the most I would be as respect is to be XY. It's okay, you can X me on that one. I'm not trying to be rude. But that's the
Okay,
max
but-
I would, as being respectful, I would give a trans woman, but I would never call them woman because they don't
Okay,
have XX
I need a
chromosome
chance to
or
respond here.
something in between. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so your necessary condition for being a woman is having XX chromosomes, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so what about women with Swyer syndrome? Swyer syndrome is when a cisgender woman who is female, who has female reproductive parts, identifies as a woman, has XY chromosomes.
So then it's not the same concept. I said someone who's XX. So if you have XY, no offense. Yes, I understand you live as a woman. I respect it to the fullest. I probably would see you as a woman, but at the end of the day, biologically, I wouldn't identify as a woman. You're considered
So you
somewhere
are
in
saying,
between.
I want to be clear here. You are saying that cisgender women who have uteruses, who have vaginas, who are capable of giving birth, who identify as women, who have breasts, are men
Yes. No, I
because they
didn't
have
say they're
Swyer
men.
syndrome.
Wait, no. I didn't say they're men. I said they're somewhere in between. With all due
They're
respect,
somewhere, so
like
you're
again, I
saying
would
they're
call them the
not women.
pronoun woman. I
You're
call
saying
everything.
women with Swyer
No,
syndrome
no.
are not women, is what you're
I
saying.
just said that if you do not have full XX chromosome, to make it very simple, no. But I would say something in between. So if the in between means that you could produce kids, you will still call you a mother. I will still call you a woman. I will still call you a woman,
Guys.
even if you have XY chromosome. But
This
ideally, no,
is
because it's
you're
somewhere
saying
in
this with your
between.
full chest, guy. You are saying that some women are less of a woman than other women.
I
You are
didn't
saying
say
that with
that
your
they're less
full
women.
chest.
I just don't. Again, I didn't say that it makes them less women. I just
Yeah,
said
you
that I
did.
wouldn't
Yeah,
classify
you
them
did.
the
Yeah,
traditional
you
role of
did.
woman. No, hold on. No, I didn't. I said I wouldn't classify them as the traditional role of a woman, but somewhere in between. That's it. I'm not calling them male. That's words that you're saying. I'm saying. I didn't say that. I said it would be something in between, but I wouldn't
So
classify them as
not
woman.
a woman.
So to be a
You are
woman to
saying
me,
that they
you
are
have to have
not
XX
women. The heart of it, I know you love to hear the sound of your voice. I love the sound of my own voice too. Even though I have vocal dysphoria, I love the sound of my own voice. I get it. But you are absolutely saying that women with Swyer syndrome are less of a woman. That is what you have said time and time again here.
Yes, I do not call them what we classify as what a woman is, but out of respect, I would call them woman. I would see them as
That's not
women, just like
respect.
I would call a
That
trans
is
woman
not
too.
respect. Invalidating the core of someone's identity is not respect, guy. It is not
If I
respect.
call them a woman, you say what my personal view is different from when I verbally tell someone. That's different. I said that my personal view, no. It's just like if someone sees someone who was mixed and say they had only 10, 15% black, 20% black.
We're
Ideally,
not
they're
talking about
biracial or if
race.
anything more white. I'm just making examples to compare the two. So I'm saying that if I would see someone who is 10%, 15%, 20% black, and I'd rather see them as biracial or Caucasian because they're white passing, out of respect, I would call them black if that's what they want to be called. But ideally, in my heart, no, I don't find it as the traditional role. Yes, they can have kids, perfect. I would call them a mother. I would call them out of respect. But if we're going to basic and make it as simplified as I can, no. If you have XX chromosome, it's woman. If you XY chromosome, it's male. If you are something in between, you're something in between, with all due respect. But it's just to simplify it because it's easier to explain. Yes, there are exceptions, and you could explain those exceptions. But at the end of the day, if you have XX, I will let you I will classify you as a woman if this is what you want to identify as. If you don't want to identify as a woman, I call you whatever pronoun you want.
I don't see an opportunity for a conversation to continue here. You are literally saying that some women are less of a woman than other women. Additionally, you just
Perfectly
don't
fine.
let me talk. So between those two things, have a day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Guys, he said that with his whole chest. He said that with his whole chest, that some women are less of a woman than other women. He said that.
Keep tapping away, guys. See if we can hit 300,000. How you doing, girl? 200p.
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right? How old are you, please?
42?
Fantastic. And what is a necessary condition for being a woman?
Well, I know a lot of people disagree, but the pelvic bone in men and women is entirely different. If you look at a cadaver, women's is much wider for reproduction, and there's no disputing it. And, you can't say some men have the same pelvic as women or women have the same pelvic as men. It's definitely different, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I think you're great. I think you're compassionate. I think you're smart. And I really like watching you. But I do believe that that's a substantial difference. It's gender specific. So, but
It's sex specific, and even then, they when we're talking about just about skeletons, they struggle to get that perfectly right every time, because there's this, it just doesn't work as well as everyone think it does. Just looking at bones to figure out someone's sex or gender.
yeah, all
Regardless,
the other bones are the same. All the other bones are the same. Women's are wider because of reproduction.
okay, but regardless, that is your bones would be related to your sex, not your gender. Gender is
Okay.
psychological and social. Sex is biological.
Okay. I get that. I knew that, but I don't know why I said that.
It's all good. It's all good. Anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, you believe that you have an internal sense of self.
Yep.
Um,
An
that you're a
innate
woman.
sense of self. Yeah. I had been saying internal for a long time. I'm trying to work myself away from saying internal,
Innate.
trying to say innate instead.
No problem. The only thing I have is I believe you, and I really, really honestly think that that's totally justified, But a lot of people, you can't really prove that. Do you know what I mean? To other people, I believe it, but you
Yeah,
can't.
it's a matter of, thank you for the finger heart. You just trust when a person tells you that, hey,
Yeah.
this is how I identify, you trust them. It's that simple.
Right.
There's no harm in that.
Yeah, but it's not. There's no way to physically prove it, and that doesn't matter
It's
to
just
me.
something that's new. I accidentally sent an invite to the person who I accidentally invited. Please don't accept them. I will drop you the moment you come up. Sorry.
What'd I do?
No, nothing you did. I accidentally sent an invite to someone and I did not mean to.
Oh, that's okay.
Thank you.
And I know this might not have anything to do with it, but some people believe that God is an internal sense of belief also inside them also. And, I just think it's sort of you can kind of compare it because you can't prove it either. You can't prove, well, I believe that God is inside me and it's
Where
a
does
sense.
God develop in the brain?
Well, you could, can't you believe it? Doesn't your mind believe?
I need evidence. Gender identity develops in the hypothalamus. We have evidence of that.
I know,
Oh my
but you
God, not
said,
that baby.
yeah, but you
Sorry.
said the part about your internal sense of self.
Mayonnaise and soap, yes.
different
The
from.
gender identity, which is what I'm talking about when I refer to that, it develops in the hypothalamus between the ages of 3 and 7.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know that. I just think that some people, believe it so much that it'd be hard to prove also, is what I'm saying. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Do you believe that trans women are women?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And do you believe that we deserve access to gender affirming care for both adults and children?
Yeah, under medical scrutiny, I believe.
Of course, 100%. Okay, it
Yeah.
sounds to me like you're not really up, so I'm going to drop you down. But
Okay.
thank you so much for coming up.
No
Bye.
problem. Thank you.
The cake is a lie. Who could be sending that?
The cake is a lie. I'm telling you, I saw the cake. It's white. It's got. I think it had strawberries on it. It had one single candle, if I remember. The cake is not a lie. I saw it with all those other personality cores. I saw it.
How you doing, Megan?
Hello?
How you doing, Zoe? Zoe, you are off the app if you're talking.
Hi.
How you doing, Zoe?
Good. How are you?
How old are you, please?
19.
Fantastic. What year were you born?
2004.
All right. And what is a necessary condition for being a woman?
Having a female reproductive system.
Hang on 1 second here. I'm just going to do a call out to my mods real quick. Okay, so having a female reproductive system. I would say that not all women have female reproductive systems.
Yeah, but like that's only like a few. Like that's not loads.
Sure, but we're looking for a necessary condition, and a necessary condition has to apply to the entire group, without exception.
Okay. So?
So that means that some women cannot give birth because they do not have female reproductive systems. Zoe, what month were you born? Sorry.
Meh.
May. Okay, you're good. Okay. Some cisgender women are born without vaginas. Some are born without uteruses.
Yeah, but like that's not like all. Like,
Sure.
But they still happen. It still happens. Are they not women? Oh, they're gone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How old are you, please?
I'm 25.
25. Fantastic. And how old are you? Oh, yeah, right. Jesus Christ. Wow. What is a necessary condition for being a woman?
I want to come on here and say the necessary conditions for being a woman is your brain size needs to be around 2.6 pounds.
That sounds like brain sex, not gender.
No, that I say that's the necessary condition. You need to have that in order to qualify as a woman.
Right, brain sex is a sex is a sex characteristic, not a
No,
gender
brain
characteristic.
size, brain size.
Yeah, and even if that is true, I have read studies that say that there's a 2% size variance between men and women. But even if that's true, that's related to sex, not gender.
So can you tell me what you think makes a woman, please?
Yes, someone with a persistent, innate sense of self that says that they're a woman.
I don't believe that because the definition of woman says an adult human female.
Adult human female, but again, female is a sex characteristic, not female is related to sex, not gender.
Well, I say a woman is a female. It's no difference. A woman is a female. A female is a woman.
So you deny that sex and gender are
Yes, I
are the same,
deny.
are different?
Yes.
Do you say that they're the same thing?
Yes, they're the same thing. Yes.
Okay, so then what do you know that's pretty much the entire medical community doesn't know?
I'm sorry?
What do you know that pretty much the entire medical community doesn't know? Additionally, would you say that babies are women?
No. Babies are if it's
Right,
a
but babies can be
baby,
female.
it's a girl. If it was born a
Babies can be
female, it's
female, right?
a girl. Not until they go through their first menstrual cycle.
Yeah, I would definitely say that you're not
They
a
become a
woman
young
at your
woman. They
first
become a
menstrual
young
cycle,
woman.
but
They become a young woman. Because at that point you're entering your adulthood. You've had your first period.
so you realize that what you're acknowledging here is that there is a difference between gender and sex, because you were saying that a baby is not a woman, despite being
It's a
female.
girl until they have their first menstrual cycle.
Which means that there's a difference between
Can I
sex
ask you
and
something?
gender.
Can I ask you something? Have you had your first menstrual cycle?
I've never had a menstrual cycle because I don't have a uterus.
Okay, so you're not a woman.
Yeah, I would not argue that having a menstrual cycle is a condition for being a woman, as not all women have menstrual cycles.
And why is that?
Some just don't for one reason or another. I don't know the exact reasons. Some women don't have uteruses.
So,
Some had
if you're
hysterectomies.
born a female, let me know if you understand what I'm telling you. If you become a female and you don't have a uterus, you do understand that you can get a uterus transplant as a female, correct?
Females can get uterus transplants. Yes, males
Exactly.
cannot get uterus transplants.
Exactly. So my point is, if you can't at least get a uterus transplant, you aren't a woman.
Okay, so not all women who need uterus transplants can get uterus transplants. It's in its early stages, very early stages.
But they can though. They can.
No. It is not an
It
option for the
doesn't
vast
matter how
majority.
early of
No.
that stage. It
Okay.
doesn't. No, let me tell you, you're not going to do to me what you do to everybody else. You're going to listen just like everybody else listens. You don't get to interrupt because you want to interrupt.
I get to do whatever I want.
I don't really care what you say. Because at the end of the day, a woman is a female and a female is a woman, and you don't fit that description.
What description do I not fit?
Woman.
Okay, so what is the necessary condition of being a woman?
I already told you the necessary condition for being a woman is being able to reproduce or having a uterus.
Can all women
having a menstrual
reproduce?
cycle.
Can all women reproduce?
Not all women can reproduce, but if you were born with a vagina,
Do all women have
you're a woman.
Do all women have the ability to can all women have a menstrual period, a menstrual cycle?
I'll have to look into that. I have heard about some women not being able to, but at the end of the
Or
day, what
does that
makes
make
you
them
a
less of a
woman?
woman? Does that make them less of a woman?
No, it does not. But you know what makes you less of a
Therefore,
woman?
having a
You know
having
what
a
makes you
menstrual
less?
cycle is not a
Do you
necessary
want to know
condition
what
of being
makes
a
you less
woman.
of a woman, though?
Sure, that's exactly what I want to know. That's the point of this topic.
You being born with the penis makes you less of a woman.
That's a sex characteristic, not a gender characteristic.
I've already told you once. Female and woman is the same thing.
What do you know that the entire medical community does not?
So why are you arguing with me then, or debating?
That's not the answer to my question at all. Not even a little.
So explain to me, besides the I forgot what you said when I first asked you to define woman. What makes you think that you should be a woman, or you are a woman, whichever one you want
How
to
about
go
you
with?
answer my question?
I'm sorry.
My question was, what do you know that the entire medical community does not? Because the entire medical community recognizes a difference between sex and gender.
Say that last part one more time. I apologize.
The medical community recognizes a difference between sex and gender.
Well, as I told you before, um, if you don't have a uterus, you don't. Well, I'm not gonna say that again. I'm gonna say in the most respectful way, you don't present as a woman.
How about you answer my question? And how many men you know with boobies like this?
I know everything. Not everything, but what the medical people know, what doesn't anyone know? I mean, you can go online and post something and it can go viral and everyone would know that. So,
No, no.
yes, yes.
Viral videos are not sources.
I'm sorry.
Viral videos are not sources.
I'm saying if you posted something about yourself, everyone would know it. So, what the medical people post, it doesn't really matter because anyone can say
I'm
anything and
not
it can
asking
be
about what the
true.
medical community is posting. I'm on social media. I'm
The
asking
medical
what the
people
medical
know.
community as a whole understands about sex and gender. And guess what? The medical community as a whole, the scientific community, understand that sex and gender aren't the
I
same.
understand. I don't get that because I don't really remember from being a kid. I don't remember anyone saying sex and gender is different. I don't really remember hearing that.
That is a failing of the education system. We were taught that sex and gender are interchangeable. We were taught incorrectly.
So what you're saying is that we should change the way schools teach.
Yes.
And can you tell me why you believe that? Because I think the way
Because we are
schools teach
teaching
is
incorrect
perfect.
information. The information we teach should be correct and complete.
I think you're only saying that because you would like it to fit in your perspective.
Thank you so much. No, I want people to be taught the correct things.
So
We know that sex and gender are different things. We should stop teaching that they're the same.
they are the same though? Can you tell me
See,
why they're
this
different?
is exactly why we need to stop teaching that they're the same, so that people like you will stop saying that they're the same.
They are the same
So
though.
confidently wrong.
Tell me why they're different.
Because sex is biological, it refers to your genitalia, your gonads, your chromosomes, your brain sex, and your hormonal sex. Gender is psychological and social, meaning that it is the way that you present to society, it is the roles that you play within society, it is your innate sense of self. It can be any combination of those things.
Well, I don't think you present as a woman, respectfully. Your breasts don't matter, okay? Because if a fat person puts on a push-up bra, they will have breasts as well.
Where's the fat? There's a little bit right here, but not enough to produce this.
You know what is enough though? Plastic surgery.
Yeah,
So
I
let me
recognize
ask
that
you
they.
if let me ask you something. If you stop taking hormones today, what will happen to you?
If I stopped taking hormones, I would become chronically ill because I would not be producing
You will
enough
become a man.
testosterone.
You will become a man.
No,
Yeah, you
no, I would
will.
become chronically ill and I would probably die early.
Well, guess what? You are still a man. Because I see no woman
What is the necessary condition for being a man?
having a penis, having
Having a penis.
testicles,
Are you aware that some men are born without penises?
and what does that make them if they're
I
born
would say it makes them a
without a
man.
penis?
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate you.
So because you were born with the penis, that makes you a man. You weren't born with the vagina.
No, no. A penis is a sex characteristic. I am male. I am a woman.
No, you're not a
Some
woman.
men are born without penises. What are they? Are they men? Are they women? Are they something else?
You're not. It's simple. You're not a woman. You weren't even growing
You have
up
no
as a
ability
girl,
to
were you?
engage in the conversation, do you, Kay?
No.
I keep
Were you
asking you
growing?
questions, and
Did
rather
you
than
grow up?
answering the
Wait, wait,
questions,
wait, wait, wait,
you
wait, wait,
pivot.
wait, wait, wait,
You're
wait, wait,
pivoting.
wait. Did you
You're
grow up
pivoting.
as a girl?
Yes, I grew up as a girl. I was socialized to be a boy, but I was in fact a girl. So I grew up as a girl. Yes.
Have you and
I got
because
Cash App to kick. You have a nice day.
you two
All right. Guys, I don't know what's gotten into me lately. Like, literally, all I have done is just lives, morning to night, morning to night. Um, would you guys hate me if I skipped tonight? My friends invited me over for football. I kind of want to go. I kind of want to go. I'm gonna text my friends, see if they still want to hang out with me. I already told them no, but I'm gonna text my friends and see if they want to hang out with me tonight. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take tonight off, guys. Depending on my friends' plans. Depends on which team I'm rooting for. Neither. I don't like either team. Actually, no. Is it Detroit versus the Packers? If it's Detroit versus Packers, then yes, I'm 100% rooting for the Lions. 100%. Plus, I'm an LA Rams fan. I love Goff. Like, make no mistake. I'm happy with the trade for Matthew Stafford. Very happy with the trade for Matthew Stafford, but I love Goff. So I will wholeheartedly be rooting for Goff today. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You are all amazing. I love you all. Another fun part of this is I get to show off my boobs to one of my friends for the first time. I saw someone say that they missed Stafford. Don't. Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Goff is no joke. Everyone underestimates Goff. Don't. Be happy with what you guys got. Y'all are going to win the Super Bowl this year with Jared Goff. So all that's going to happen is a quarterback flip. Like we got Matthew Stafford for our Super Bowl. You guys are going to have Jared Goff for your Super Bowl. It's all going to be good. Guys, thank you so much for all the support tonight. It's been absolutely amazing. Guys, 46 new subscribers. 46 new subscribers. That is wild. We broke 1,000. We did it. We broke 1,000. 12,000 diamonds, guys. Thank you so much. 308 new followers, all in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Thank you so much. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much. A reminder that 5% of all gifts are donated to charity. I ended up doing the Trevor Project this week because Trevor Project made it a little bit easier for me than the Human Rights Campaign did. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Don't forget that Mel and I are doing a duo live. I have to get in touch with Mel so we can figure out exactly what we're doing because I've been bad about it. Yeah, tomorrow night, Mel and I are doing a duo live. It's going to be Mel and I versus opposition. I will see you all there. I will also be live tomorrow at 9 a.m. What's my favorite football team? The LA Rams. It's not even close. Like this LA Rams, and then it's everyone else. Like I love the Patriots. I love the Patriots. I love the Eagles. I love the Chargers. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for subscribing. Appreciate you so much. We got 1,007 subs, guys. 1,007. Thank you so much. I get $2.15 out of every single sub. So you guys are absolutely amazing. Don't know what I would do without all of you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to log off now.